Screen. Say hello, guest.
How's it going?
Hey, I got Tony here with me, so this is great. And, I'm glad you took a moment to come out this way. I promise I'm not, taking all these guys hostage or anything like that.
Thanks for having me. I'm pretty sure I invited myself.
You did, actually.
I wanted to be in the hot seat.
He saw what Dan did, and he's like, I could do that better.
I just wanted to sit in the seat Dan had sat in, really.
There you go.
Take it all in.
So, hello, everybody. Obviously, the way I got this set up, I haven't quite figured out a perfect scenario for when I have guests and how the whole seating arrangement works, but I think we both fit, so we'll be okay. And as far as anything else is concerned, I think I'm just going to go ahead and mute that tab there. Go ahead and bring that up for later. Okay, so we've been building up kind of a catalog in the background of things to watch today, stuff to check out. Obviously, this can be a free flow thing. So if you decide, actually, I'm going to get distracted, we're going to go down a Google image search rabbit hole for a while. I do that all the time, and these guys put up with it, so we're welcome to do that too. If something, strikes your fancy, you're like, hold on.
Are we going to end up looking at ships in a bottle on Etsy and...
Let's hope it doesn't come to that, but I'm not saying it won't.
Okay,
so.
good.
David Cervantes, welcome. Hello. I'm glad you get a chance to see this one. I thought, starting a little earlier today might be good, and he was already over here, so it was great to get a start early, and then we'll just go find some dinner afterwards, so that's cool.
Easy.
But, Jimmy, I hope the special guest isn't Complain All Day Anthony from the YouTube channel. Yeah, that YouTube channel. Funny enough, the first video that I wanted to watch with Tony today does have that guy in it.
What a coincidence.
That's kind of weird. That's kind of crazy, actually. Yep, so,
pretty crazy.
Fair warning. Also, I'm realizing how short we look.
Too many Tonys is what I'm hearing.
Too many Tonys.
Too many Tonys.
There we go. Now we're a little more on screen. Yeah, Jimmy, you're welcome. So, welcome to anybody and everybody who's in here right now. Got a handful of you, but we're kind of building it up, right? Getting people's interest going. And it'll be a detailing-centric kind of episode today. However, I'm not afraid to take us some car places, which we're starting at.
Yep.
And then we can get into some detailing, and maybe towards the end, maybe I'll make you play GeoGuessr with me.
All right.
Have you ever messed around with that?
I will be bad at that.
Okay.
I will be bad
because I thought I'd be terrible, and I surprised myself. I was better than expected, but I couldn't have done it without the help of a couple of these guys in the chat going, oh, those look like Chilean electrical poles.
No
And
way.
I'm like, what? That's a thing?
That's insane.
And then sure enough, it's like, oh yeah, that's Chile. And you're like, wow. So shout out the Porsche file, I believe was your name. So thank you. Dangerous name, but yeah, you did it.
Yeah. Just squeaked enough consonants in there.
Careful with that one. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and kick it over to my React view. We're going to get the window up here on the screen. You may remind yourself of a particular channel that I sometimes watch. We don't know the guy, but we kind of do know the guy. So you managed to be in a video with this guy. Now,
I did.
We know his secret identity, but on his channel, people have still never seen his face.
Well, what was weird is he didn't have a face in real life. It was a camera apparatus.
Oh my god, that's so creepy.
Fully wrapped around his head.
Why would you say that?
He couldn't see anything.
That's terrifying.
It was a ski mask.
Oh,
and a big GoPro right in the middle.
How does he see when he drives?
I asked myself the same question. I was in the car with him.
Okay, maybe that's why he doesn't show his face then.
Doesn't have a
Do we
face.
ever see reflections in any of his videos? Does his face show up? No, never? For a guy who polishes cars, you'd think it would be more common, right?
Occasionally.
Okay, so guys, gals, everybody in between who's listening, let's go ahead and start this video. Oh, look, I've already thumbs up it. I did that because I was a nice guy the first day it came out, and I wanted it to get views. So, something that's not a Honda Civic on a Honda Civic-centric channel, I'm all for it.
Uphill battle.
Frankly, I'm tired of the Honda Civic, only people on his channel. Let the guy try something else, Let him try something else. So, after we watch the video, we might scan the comments a little bit.
Ooh.
Take a look in there, see if you got any responses that we could check into.
Maybe.
I didn't tell you I was going to do that, but I thought maybe it'd be kind of a fun thing to throw in there.
We can do
so, all right, we'll go ahead and start off here. Let me make sure I don't have this tab muted. I've done that before and just started playing a video that had no sound. Very embarrassing. Okay. I have a very good guess as to how this video is probably going to start, though? Can you do it? Can you do the...
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Yeah, so there's definitely a bit of that. So let's see if he does it.
Let's jump in.
Let's go.
What's up, guys? It's Alda Anthony, and welcome back to a somewhat random video where today I get to experience driving a Hyundai Veloster N.
What you think? I'm gonna
That's
let you
not a
roll in a
Hyundai.
Hyundai?
That's a Hyundai.
Audio clip there.
No way!
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Anthony, what's up, dude? Good to meet you.
You got the car enthusiast cred. You picked something that's unique and special in
guys,
its own
welcome
way.
back to the inside
And fun,
of my
most
Honda
importantly.
Civic,
Very fun.
because in today's video we're doing something different. We are reviewing a subscriber's car.
don't get
Now
to
this
drive
is something
it,
I've never done before
Oh,
on my
no.
channel, and I'm
Well, what does that mean? You don't get to drive it enough, so...
Well, I work from home now. You know, I've got the home
Oh,
shop at
okay.
home, so unless I'm, going out to do something, I don't have a reason to drive around. Groceries, sure, and take the kids to school occasionally.
You have to
in the race
make
car.
excuses.
I literally
at that
have to
point.
make reasons
You have
to
to
go
make
out.
up reasons that you need to go for a drive. But
Yeah.
I understand, the married folks got to be careful doing that kind of thing. It doesn't,
Yeah.
doesn't sound good, but
I had a customer who needed to be picked up and dropped off after
Okay.
bringing me their vehicle recently, and I had to drive that just as an excuse to get in
Right.
the car and do something.
what did they think of it?
Oh, he liked it.
Okay, okay.
Although he was dropping off his Roush Mustang, so he wasn't exactly impressed
Okay,
with
so
the speed.
it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's not a torque monster in the
No.
same way. That's fair. But I mean, if you can't appreciate slow car fast,
No,
then
he appreciated the manual and the
crackles
enthusiasm.
and pops
Yes.
and yeah, so we'll get a dose of that. Let's keep going.
honestly super excited about it. So, long story short, I had a subscriber named Tony who traveled up to
Do
Idaho
you
for a
actually
car show
subscribe to his
and
channel?
drove
I
up
do.
his
Okay,
2018, I believe, Hyundai Veloster N. Now, this is a car that's piqued my curiosity ever since I saw it and ever since I heard one for the first time. And he saw that I kind of had some curiosity around it, and so he reached out and said, "Hey, Anthony, how would you like to experience driving a stock Veloster N?" And I'm like, dude, absolutely, let's make it happen. So
Is
right
that how
now
it went?
I am on my way
Pretty
to meet
much.
Tony
Okay,
at
so-
kind of some back roads here where he's going to let me drive his car. Now, to give you guys some background information for people maybe that are new to the channel, I primarily kind of stick within the Honda realm. This is my 1999
No
Honda Civic.
shit.
I also have a 2011 Honda CRZ, but I also have a 2006 Lancer Evolution 9. So I
That poor
feel
car
like the
doesn't get
Veloster
enough
N
love.
is kind of
That
that
Evo
perfect
just
middle
sits.
ground of maybe performance is what most people are kind of considering it,
Does
or
his
budget
Evo get more
performance.
views, though,
And this
than
is
the
something that
Veloster did?
I don't know. I just
I
haven't
mean,
really experienced
early
driving
on it
one of
did.
these newer generations.
But the second he introduced the red Civic to his channel, the $1,500 Civic, that's all his audience blew up exponentially. Like
Wow.
he gained a ton of followers just because of that car.
Yeah.
And everything else was just kind of it was like gravy after that. But it never mattered what he did, as long as he did it with that car, people would tune in. With the Evo, suddenly, like, his Evo did okay on his channel, but he was mostly a moto vlogging channel before that, so he was doing his motorcycle stuff. Yeah, so his Evo just, it should do better. It should, but it doesn't.
Of kind of tuner cars, and so
I don't know, Jack, you're
kinda
being real
have
quiet.
some
What's going on over there?
I don't know, preconceived notions, if that's the right thing to say, going into this, right? Mainly for the fact that
We're
I'm
early,
kind of
right? This is
excited to
earlier
go
than
drive a
usual
Hyundai,
time.
Yeah.
which is I never thought I would be saying that, but I am saying that. And also, I kind of want to see what they're putting out nowadays, right? Because again, this is just not something I'm used to. I feel like the Evo is obviously a fantastic platform, and the thing's pretty damn quick. But I'm kind of humbled typically by driving my Hondas, and So I'm just excited to kind of get the best of both worlds, if that makes sense, right? Kind of get a little bit more of that budget performance, but also be able to experience something that's newer. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I bought my 2011 Honda CRZ and that thing had navigation and a sound system that was already pretty good, I was like, damn, dude.
All this technology.
This is awesome.
Whoa.
So anyway,
So
this is something that's new for me on the
Step
channel.
into the
Hopefully you guys
future.
are kind of open to it. It's not necessarily something I'm always wanting to do.
Don't get me wrong,
but I
I
thought,
love
when in Rome,
low
or in this
option
case, when Rome
claptrap,
comes to you,
fun,
do it. Take
simplistic
advantage
little
of
car.
it.
That's
Give it
what
a
my
shot.
Miata
And
was.
there
It
we
didn't even
go.
have
The
AC.
Hyundai
Yeah.
Veloster N is pulled up.
It was the base model.
Let's go,
but
Let's go
I
say
had
what up.
fully custom
What
suspension.
up, dude?
all the
What's
way
going
around,
on?
All the nice lightweight.
Thanks for
wheels.
letting me do this.
Autocross
I'm
cars
excited
are
about
good.
this. Tony, Anthony, what's up, dude? Good to meet you. So here she is, man.
On screen twice.
It's 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I said 2018. So 2019. Got it. So Tony,
got it wrong.
how long have you had this car for?
I've had this car for about, it's only been about a year and a half now, actually.
Year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you buy it new or used?
I bought it used.
Okay.
I would have bought it new. They were super hard to find at the time, and a local guy who was meticulous about taking care of it had it and was moving off to college, needed to get rid of it.
And how many miles does it have on it right now?
Dude,
This has
Haven't
got,
very
we just
long,
crossed
no,
18,000 miles.
And you drove from California here.
Yes.
So
yes, 12 hours.
Most of the drive was probably pretty boring, right?
It was very flat
Through
and
Nevada?
straight, and Nevada, and no cell towers, and yeah, it was a little rough at times.
All right. Well, hey, dude. At least you're here, man. I really appreciate you bringing this out because,
Can I just point out something that cracks me? I get it's for symmetry on a car that deliberately doesn't have symmetry.
Right.
But the visor over the window that doesn't open.
The fake visor.
the
on
fake visor.
Window, yes.
That's funny to me.
Yeah.
That's just inherently funny.
Stuck it right on there.
Yep. But you know what?
tape.
It's better with it visually than it is without, so I get it.
Yeah.
But man, it's funny when you just see it isolated right there.
Yeah.
again, it's just not something I've done on my channel. This is kind of new for me to drive somebody else's car, so I appreciate you allowing me to do this. Let's talk about a couple of the weird quirks and features.
Well, right off, the body of the Veloster's a weird one because it's asymmetrical, right?
Yeah.
On this side, we've got a big, long, coupe-sized front door.
Yeah.
But this door is about a foot longer than the passenger door on
A
the
whole
other side.
freaking
They
foot?
did that
Yeah,
so that they
it's
could
like
throw
10
in
inches.
a single third door.
So
I mean, I
this
was in
is
it, so I guess, yeah, I felt like it was significantly.
This is probably my one
just wish we had
favorite
four
thing
doors,
about
to
the
be
car
honest.
so far.
Yeah.
Just not knowing anything about it, mainly from like a utilitarian.
I mean, it's kind of like getting into my, early 90s van, my JDM van, because it's only got a sliding door on one side, which is how vans traditionally used to be.
yeah.
But, yeah, it always feels weird. You're like, open the door, you get in, and you're like, it just makes more sense having one on both sides.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, it's not an issue. But, yeah, it's purely for the sake of, being different.
Quirkiness.
Quirky.
Quirks and
standpoint
features.
here
Quirks
because
and features.
that door that doesn't open. But this, so I guess you could crawl in, right?
You can crawl in back here like
Not
a regular
comfortable,
coupe, but
yeah.
not easy.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have a door, the window doesn't roll down. So this is a fake, well, it's a real window.
It's a real
but it
window.
doesn't roll down.
It doesn't roll down.
It's a fake window.
On that side.
guy
I'm
insane.
sorry. Is it just
Strange,
projecting an image
but
of
awesome
outside?
if you're a dad, right? And you are a dad.
Birds
so,
aren't
I
either.
fit 2 car seats back here. I take my kids out. They call it the race car. They
Yeah.
don't know it's not fast.
It sounds like
dude,
race car.
I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see about
They said
that.
put it in.
And then wheels here. What do you got for wheels?
These are a set of Koenig hexaforms
Good
in
choice.
18 by 8.5 with
Okay.
a plus 43 offset, and then a bit meatier tire than you get stock. I went with a 245/40, which
Nice.
was a little tough to fit in the front. I had to put in just a tiny bit of camber, not to rub, but I wanted that meaty
So it
tire
doesn't
look.
rub.
And I didn't want to have to adjust the suspension.
Even with
at all.
weight in the
Where I
car?
live,
Okay.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
dips and
Yep.
things, and things can get
It really didn't
rocky if
before
you're
I
too
put the
low.
camber bolts
So this
in.
is
It was
stock
really
ride height
like
then.
Stock
you
ride
cranked
height.
and you
And the
went, like,
meatiness
through
kind
a
of helps
dip
fill that
of
gap just
Yeah.
just a
decent
little
clip,
bit, right?
and-
Yeah,
That
so
makes
the
sense.
stock it came with
But, yeah,
19s
camber
and
bolts just
Pirelli
brought it in.
P0s.
Okay.
But I just wanted to go
quarter inch.
-1. I wanted a little
makes
more
sense.
sidewall. I liked that meaty tire look. I felt like it'd make the ride a little more compliant.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just like the look of it overall.
Dude, I dig it, man. So, I mean, the hexaforms they're light too. What, like 19 pounds a piece,
Yes,
18
they're
I'm
pounds a
never
piece?
mad at
Much
bronze
lighter than the
wheels.
stocks. That was for sure.
Yeah.
Love a
Forget
good
exactly
bronze
how
wheel.
much.
And then,
Bonnie
I
thought
mean,
that
some
was
other
crazy
cool
until
things.
she
I mean,
saw it.
there's a lot of red accents around the car, right?
Yep.
So basically,
In
all of
isolation,
your
it always
side
looks
skirts
like
here
it's gonna
have
be
some red
weird, but then you
accents.
get it on there, you're
The
like,
front here,
okay,
which I think
okay.
is much more aggressive in person. Like I'm hoping the video is kind of picking this up. really
I
a
remember-
front lip on.
You weren't particularly fond of the red accent.
I don't love the red. I'm just
Okay.
not. Well, I'm just not a red guy in
Is
general.
it so? It's the color red. It's not the fact that there's an accent color.
No,
there.
yeah, it's just the fact
Okay.
that it's a color red.
So-
and if you go on the the Veloster groups, a lot
Yeah.
of guys will pull them out and wrap them some different color.
Hmm.
What's kind of lame is the red model comes with black trim inserts, but they're like impossible to just buy.
I was gonna say you can't just buy those.
You can't just buy those. Like they're impossible.
Huh.
So
Okay. Interesting.
maybe if you really took the effort to order them from
So-
a dealer or something.
So it's an insert.
It is
It's
an
something that
insert.
just like pops in
They've
like
got
clips.
on the back, and it is kind of a to-do to get to them. You have to take the grill off. You can get behind
Oh.
there and push them out.
You have to take the grill off, but you don't have to take the bumper off. Just the grill.
Well, the whole grill and bumper is one big piece.
Okay.
The ones on the side skirts are a little bit more complicated, and then the ones on the rear bumper section at the very bottom are even more complicated. Like the tail lights have to
Okay.
come out, and the whole rear bumper has to come off. And so.
All right.
On
Man,
this
Chad,
would
you were
probably
being
set it off,
quiet
but
today. Where's
Very
the
quiet.
as you
activity?
said, the where you live, it's kind
Yeah.
of more difficult.
I've still thought of doing it up front and maybe some side skirts because
There's
at least
Dan.
you can get the cheapies off
Yeah.
of eBay and they're sacrificial.
Lights, you have like LEDs, but also have HIDs here
Yep.
on the projectors, and then massive grill. And so you have your radiator up top, and then
Yeah,
you
that
have your
grill is
intercooler
huge.
down below.
Yep, it's all integrated.
Dan
and
says
something
hi.
that I probably will be doing once I touch
What's
the
up,
engine,
Dan?
because I haven't modded the engine at all,
Okay.
is I'll be getting one of the snorkel intakes where you can see the snorkel, air inlet
sweet.
right through the grill.
Yeah.
And probably a mesh grill too. The options for the mesh grills aren't that nice right now, but I'm hoping a nicer one comes out eventually.
Now, other than the
Yeah, some
wheels,
of the mesh
exterior
looks
mods, what
really
else you got?
cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
so
There's really
my,
only
my
one,
biggest, most important
unfortunately,
mod
and you
so
have to,
far
like,
has
really
been removing
Oh,
the word
it's really
Veloster
cheap.
off the back. That was important.
Okay.
And then plasti dipping, kind of going with like a shadow, almost hidden in plain sight look to the emblem.
Oh, very nice. Yeah,
So-
sleek,
so these
subtle.
These are
They have their
white,
own drop
off-white, and
shadow.
then the front is black to match the black grill, just to kind of
IRL
highlight it.
drop shadow.
Nothing,
Same color
nothing
as
like
the
some
paint.
plasti dip emblems. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just
Dan, I
set
couldn't
things
tell
off.
you. No
Yeah.
clue.
My favorite.
Tony
Right.
already explained when he met All Day Anthony here. The dude didn't even have a face. He had a ski mask and like a GoPro for a
Yeah,
face.
it's a camera apparatus, a light,
The weirdest.
ski mask, nothing.
favorite visual mod is this damn license plate here, right? Does anybody else get it?
No,
Rolina.
no, nobody gets it. so
Nobody
far.
gets it, right?
People say, "What does Rolina mean?" and it kills me every time. No, this was a play off of Han in a Fast and Furious movie, the Tokyo Drift, and Han says, "Well, the Evo's yours." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And Han says, "What? You work for me now. What do you think? I'm gonna let you roll in a Hyundai?"
Yeah, dude. Rolling in a Hyundai, dude.
I'm
Is it
the only one that
Hyundai
thinks
or
it's
Hyundai?
I give it a
depends
pass
on-
because
Depends on where you're
it's,
from,
it's
right?
What
a deep
part of the world
cut.
you're in.
I'm a Hyundai kind of guy. That's how I say
commented
things.
if I
But
had the
right on, dude.
Hyundai
Yeah, dude. I'm
license plate
excited.
frame,
I'm excited to get
Uh-huh.
one for
it would
ribs.
be a
So,
sentence.
with that said,
That
we'll
makes
kind of
sense.
cover the.
That would be the only time it is acceptable
Right.
to have a manufacturer's plate
Yes.
surround.
As long as it wasn't like Hyundai of Santa Clarita, like if it just
Yeah.
said Hyundai at the bottom, that would be the one
Hyundai
time.
of Santa Clarita. Oh yeah, the
no,
whole
no.
thing.
Rolling a Hyundai of Santa Clarita doesn't. No, that's not the line.
No.
So I probably will look for just a very plain Hyundai.
Clean, probably black or
Yep.
dark gray
frame,
or
just black,
something.
and
Yeah.
go with that.
I'm Rhino. Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. Also, hey to Tony there. And we're watching the video that Anthony did with Tony on Tony's car. So I thought it'd be a fun introduction for Tony to introduce his particular taste in cars at the moment, but who knows what the future holds.
The interior stuff. Once I throw on the GoPro, we'll jump inside, get some things mounted, and then go for a rip.
Sounds great.
All right, so we're in.
We're in.
This is comfortable, man. This is actually quite nice.
Not terrible.
The steering wheel is aggressive. I like that. I like the leather, the perforated leather on here. And then you have your infotainment screen. And then you
Guys,
have
the Hyundai
normal
badge
gauges.
is
'cause I
basically
think
just
with
like
the
a
new
melted
Elantra
Honda.
in,
Why don't you
now
like it?
Digital.
It's the
Okay.
same, slightly different.
Okay. Yeah, and the Elantra in, from my understanding, I did just like a little bit of research. The Elantra in, you said, has like maybe a bigger turbo on it?
Slightly bigger turbo. Yeah.
Okay. Slightly bigger turbo, and then it's got some other kind of adjustments, but it's a completely different platform. I mean, that's a four-door sedan versus this thing being kind of a hot hatch. And so, but for the most part, I mean, I don't know what a normal Veloster looks like, so I think the materials on here it's
the feature
you know,
set is great
Hyundai
for the
materials,
price,
but at
like,
the same time,
It's not
I don't
terrible.
know. It seems like relatively
hard to argue
scratch-proof,
with.
solid stuff.
yeah.
Like, what's a
Having
test people
stuff
do?
you
They
can
just start
actually
hitting,
adjust on
you know,
the
you
fly
start
on the
tapping
screen
things and be like,
for
yeah,
stuff.
that's not going
Yeah.
anywhere,
Sub,
right?
you
Pretty
know,
much.
I
30
hope
grand
not.
car,
It's-
40
it's
grand car.
pretty-
Yeah.
What I'll say is, even only at 18,000 miles, which is pretty normal for most cars, there's no shakes or rattles or anything that I'm unhappy with so far.
The
on the interior.
contrast
It's pretty
color
basic plastic,
seatbelts are a
but
nice
Yeah.
touch.
It is what it is. I
Well, and
think
that's
the
the
contents
like the
of this
buttons that are
little
blue
bits
and the
make it
belts that are
really
blue. That's the
Yeah.
performance blue
Okay, yeah.
color they
that makes
launched
sense.
the
All right,
car
so
with.
Right, and the car
started
actually
up
came
here.
in
We
that
have a
color,
manual, right? So
Which
there's
I would
a
have loved to
DCT
have
and there's a
gotten, but
manual.
they were just
Beggars can't be
Do you have any
choosers.
preference? You wanted a manual,
I
right?
wanted a manual.
Okay.
I had to have it.
Yeah, and that's where, yeah, it's kind of hard, man. I mean, manuals are like,
No,
even though
right,
like
no,
the
you're totally
performance
right.
of the VCT
Kia
is there,
and
and
Hyundai
everybody
have
just
really
like
picked up
praises.
their game. It's funny though, because they've gone through multiple evolutions of like improvement. Where in the '90s, the Scoop, the S Coupe, awful little
Yeah.
car, just rough. And then kind of near the late '90s to the early 2000s, you started getting things like the Accent and other stuff like that. That while they were incredibly cheap, basic transportation, they got great gas mileage. They did what they needed to do. And for like college kids and high school kids, they were great used cars because it was just the sort of thing that was dirt cheap to run, and it ran longer than you'd expect it to. Or sometimes you get a dud or a lemon and it would crap out immediately.
And it
Just
blew
kind of
up.
depended,
Yeah.
yeah. But then they've gone through the evolution where they introduced like the newer Optimas and stuff back in the mid 2000s, like 06, 07, 08. Sonata, Optima started to pick up, and I mean, by the time you reach like 2010, 2012, they had really started to look like, oh wow, this is interesting.
They're not hot garbage anymore.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, they at least they got to the point where they looked and felt a lot more attractive
Yeah.
than they have been before, and they were trying to do a little bit of the performance-y stuff. The Genesis stuff was also coming out around 2008, 2009. They were bringing out the original, Genesis sedan,
Yeah.
which was the Hyundai Genesis. It
Yeah.
was not Genesis as a brand yet, which they kind of played around with the Genesis Coupe. They did all that stuff too once they realized the Tiburon, the Tibi, was on its way out.
Yeah.
And they wanted to try rear-wheel drive, and all that stuff. And it kind of became a Mustang-adjacent competitor in the case of the Coupe, because when you
Yeah.
got the V6, you could get up to like pretty decent. By the end of its run, it was like making 340 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is not nothing.
Right. Yeah.
For a little V6 thing, but yeah, I mean it was healthy, but yeah, it's still been kind of a rough going for them at that time period. And then you get to now where they finally get Albert Biermann, they get the N division
Yeah,
going.
when they poached
they get all that
Biermann
stuff.
and the guy from Audi for
They
design.
got really serious
Yeah.
about, okay, now we're going to take it to another level. And they'll still have the haters who pop up and go, yeah, but it's a Hyundai. And it's like, you can say that, but that doesn't have the same, like, biting commentary that it used to be.
Right.
It's just kind of a tired cliche now, and it's not really even true for the most part. Yeah, I know a lot of people had their Tau, inline fours or whatever blow up or something, but lots of car manufacturers have lots of reasons why
Right.
stuff goes to shit.
Right.
It's not necessarily just one manufacturer is worse and all the rest are laughing at them.
Right.
No, they all have their own problems, but a lot of complaints these days are like in the electronics. Like the
Right.
people on the Consumer Report stuff, and you see, this is the most unreliable car, and people are like, bullshit, how'd that wind up down there? It's like, well, people got locked out of their screen, and then they weren't able to do
All
the
the
thing they
volume
wanted.
knobs fell off.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on. They still drive fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like put up or shut up. They put up
Yeah.
bags of money to buy some designers, some
Mhm.
performance guys. They hired them and started making neat stuff.
Well, and like the South Korean government seemed to inject quite a bit of money into them also.
Oh, interesting.
So because they are kind of like one of the premier industries there.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of tough if your car brands remained the laughing stock of the world or whatever. So
This is
they
our nation's pride.
right, in a sense it kind of was for them. So as far as I understand it, yeah, like their government actually put in some serious funds to like help them elevate things a
Don't
bit
be
because
shitty.
it was in their best interest to do that. So that's why you see the Genesis brand come about, and their cars are actually good
Yeah.
and attractive depending on your taste and design. I think they look awesome in their own funky way.
Absolutely.
But no, they've like gone crazy. And then the Envision 74 concept stole my heart.
Oh
I am in
my
love with that
gosh,
car.
yes.
I would buy it as is. Holy shit.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't even need to be that if they sold a body kit
Just-
for my Veloster,
just
that
put
somehow
that on there.
transformed it into that.
That would be amazing.
It doesn't need to be any faster.
You're like,
I don't even care.
I could have the same drivetrain, but if it looked like that, I would
Yes.
just have like a modern day Mitsubishi Starion kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
sick.
Even if it
80s,
was still front-wheel drive,
cyberpunky.
I wouldn't care. I just
Whatever.
wouldn't even care.
I
Yeah.
want it to look like that because
Yes.
nothing looks like that right now. Yeah. That's the general feeling I get.
Yeah.
And Dan here saying, I'd be willing to try one of their N-Line cars. The 3+ year durability still concerns me. You know, it's one of those things where, I mean, yours is how many years old now? It's a 2019, right?
Well, yeah, it's 2019. I mean, it's only got 20,000 miles on it now, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get driven a whole lot. But
But
it's still
do you pay
absolutely
attention
rock
to like
solid.
what other owners say about theirs and
Yeah,
stuff?
I'm in all the Facebook groups
Okay.
and forums and stuff. So, you know, these model year cars had a somewhat unfortunately common issue with like the high pressure fuel pump, but that's really it.
Yeah.
And the clear coat on the wheels flakes off.
Yeah.
It's like factory wheels, and most
Yeah.
people get them replaced from from the factory. So
Yeah. And then Dan says, I'll also counter that if you're having engine recalls, you're still working on your core competencies. I recognize that they're putting real work into improving the quality, which is why I'm now willing to entertain purchasing one. I have a counter to your counter, Dan. If you weren't aware, pay close attention to what was happening to Chevy Trail bosses. You definitely can't tell me they haven't worked on their core fundamentals in engine development in the 100+ years they've been running, and they suddenly have issues now.
Yeah.
It's not an isolated incident, is all I'm saying, because we had a coworker who literally bought a Trail Boss Chevy pickup. The thing shat the bed within like, I don't remember how few miles. It was like within 2,000 or 3,000 miles of being new. Thing just like imploded on itself.
No way.
Had to get a new one. They rebuilt it, and then that one, if I understand correctly, also tanked.
What?
So yeah, that was definitely like, okay, even people who are noted for making plenty of famous great engines can still screw up sometimes.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when you look at, you know, COVID affected a lot of manufacturing processes and all that stuff. People roll their eyes at supply chain stuff. This is like where we get nerdy about cars. I'm interested in this kind of talk though. And yeah, I don't think it's necessarily easy enough to just point the finger and go, yeah, that brand.
Right,
It's like,
yeah.
no, it affects a lot of people because what do people say about old German cars?
Right.
Well, they're complicated
Yeah.
and scary. I don't want to buy that when it's 15 years old. You get the drug dealer spec one
Too
sitting on a
expensive
buy
to
here, pay
fix.
here lot. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up when I'm driving it, not when the first owner has it.
Everything has gotten dramatically more complex in a dramatically short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be big failures, but as long as they honor their warranties and stuff, like,
And
can't be
that's
that mad
that's the
about
other
it.
thing is like, okay, it's inconvenient to have a car in the shop, but when the manufacturer honors the warranties and stuff,
Yeah.
that helps. And nobody has a warranty like Hyundai Kia, so
100,000 miles.
that's pretty awesome. And they've had that for so long too.
Now, to be totally fair, because I bought this one used, I technically only get a 50,000 mile warranty.
Which is still nuts
That's
for
a little
used.
bit of like a fine print line that is not.
But you bought it
commonly known.
used.
I
and
still
you-
bought it used.
You bought it used and you still got a warranty. That's
Yes.
awesome to me because none of my cars have warranties. The last car I bought with a warranty was, my Tacoma, and I barely kept that for a year.
And it's
so
gone. It's
yeah.
gone.
Anyway,
You know, DCT transmissions, especially like the newer stuff that's just killing it, you know, with shift points and all
He
that.
mentions the DCT,
This,
which unfortunately did just
Still.
have a recall.
there you go. I heard about the DCT. He says, sure, but the Trail Boss is one product line versus the motor that every car uses.
Whoa.
The Trail Boss is one product line. However, that motor found its use in many GM vehicles.
Well, yeah.
It was in Suburbans, Yukons, Tahoes, all that stuff. It wasn't just in the Trail Boss Silverado. It's a higher performance, engine in that particular spec, but it found its way into a lot of them. And did it affect every Trail Boss? No, absolutely not. But it did affect a much larger than usual
Yeah.
amount of them. So
Yeah.
it's just an example of that kind of thing happening, but it's not isolated. All I'm saying is, like, you could be the best in the world at making that stuff, and it'll still screw up from time to time.
Yep.
Now, I will also say, when it comes to the Tau Inline 4, that was used in a ton of their products, yes, but it wasn't used in all of their products either. It's one engine in the mix with a lot of their other inline 4s, V6s, even V8s in some cases. They have a lot of other stuff going on too. So it's not everything. It is probably their most common engine,
Sure.
which is a horrible one to have a problem in.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But, I mean, like the Elantra GT over here, it's got that engine in it. Has 220,000 miles on it. Still running fine.
I mean, yeah. I would if I drove a car that long and it blew up, I wouldn't be mad. Like,
No, you're like-
220,000 miles.
You got there, buddy.
Yeah.
You got there. I'm gonna make this 20-minute video so much longer.
Still nothing like just grabbing that thing and giving it a good rattle.
I'm sorry, one more time, Anthony.
Still nothing like just grabbing that thing and giving it a good rattle, right?
And there's a
So
that
starting
thing.
it up, push button start.
Push button.
Sounds pretty sweet. Got in mode, kind of, your display there with some custom stuff, and then G-Force performance timer, turbo, torque, and power, man.
Yeah, Rhino. I haven't read
Got
too
it
far
all,
into that,
right?
but that's what I've heard
And
about
then
the
what am I
lifters and
pressing?
stuff
What am I
on
pressing for the
That's
full
why
experience
they
here?
shut down individual cylinders, right?
Yeah, cylinder deactivation. It's basically where they feel, okay, we still want to give you a V8 because that's what you want,
But it only needs to be a
CAFE
four-cylinder
requirements
on a
ask that
highway.
we meet these particular fuel economy requirements. So
Right.
the way we get around that is by making your V8 function like a 4-cylinder when you're not putting your foot in it.
Right. Right.
So, I mean,
Smart tech, but if
Yeah.
but if it breaks stuff,
I mean,
That
if
sucks.
you look back to the 70s and 80s, GM had an earlier attempt at that.
Oh, really?
Called the 468. That
Ooh.
went horrible.
Oh, no.
they used it in some Cadillacs and stuff, and if I recall, some Buicks too. But
well, the magic was that it was 8 cylinders when you bought it, and eventually you only had 4, so it got more economical
that's
over time.
the joke. No, the idea was it could run on 4, 6, or 8, but the technology wasn't quite there to make it reliable yet.
Yeah.
So there were a number of people that had some
Yeah,
issues.
the,
but
the EPA regulations.
EPA regs, you know what? As much as I know car guys can get mad at EPA
good and
regs,
bad.
I am actually fine with EPA regs. I get more annoyed with some of the hypocrisy of stuff. So
Like our parents say that like there literally was smog in the 70s. Like we haven't had to grow up with that.
I think some people take for granted how not shitty the air is now.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, there's some stuff where I appreciate things that it has done, but as a car enthusiast, I also find certain parts of it annoying.
Yeah.
I think though, as a side benefit, cars in general have improved exponentially in fuel economy standards from where they were, because
Absolutely.
to be honest, without the regulation there forcing their
There was
hand,
nothing to make them do
the
it.
companies were capable of doing it to a degree, but they had no incentive to do it, and they weren't really going out of their way to do it because their customers didn't care until gas got expensive. Then everybody panics.
Yeah.
So now you're at a point where even those like gas guzzling vehicles, with the exception of like Hellcats and Demons and stuff,
Well, yeah.
those are an exception to the rule, but they're balanced out by other cars in the lineup. You get this stuff where it's like, okay, there's a time and a place, and I love that we have gas guzzling behemoths, but at the same time, they're also a much smaller subset. And frankly, enthusiasts account for a very small amount
Right.
of the car buying populace as a whole.
And even the gas guzzlers aren't pollutants. They're not
Right.
pollutant behemoths.
If all the normie NPC cars, like just regular as cars that people drive, that they don't care about what they drive, they just need something to get around in, and their local public transit sucks, so cars the only way to make it work. If they all turn to EVs, I'm not mad about that.
Sure.
That's fine. Let them drive those
Yeah.
cars. I will continue to enjoy my internal combustion stuff and have fun with that, because as long as I'm not regulated out on that end, I'm fine, even though people get mad at like the broader arguments and stuff. I think it's
everybody likes
fine.
to throw the whole like by 2035
Oh
you won't
god,
be able
people
to buy
people
an
get
electric car in
so upset
California.
about that stuff. But the reality is, when it comes down to it, they're not outlawing. At least right now, I wouldn't want to see them outlaw owning an internal
No.
combustion car, because from a practical consideration, from a logical, rational consideration, that would be dumb and bullshit. Because if you were to pursue that, the number of people who are actually doing that, enthusiast driving an internal combustion car at that point, has such a small impact on the environment and the overall stuff. It's just a non-issue. When they try and force people to think about it in an individualistic kind of way, it takes away the responsibility of the larger corporations and the larger businesses to actually be responsible for that stuff, because numbers matter with this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the enthusiasts are always going to be a much smaller percent of the population. We like the vroom, vroom, boom, boom, all that stuff, and that's awesome. I don't want to see that go away anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting my panties in a wad, getting upset when someone else decides to go drive an EV. And I see there's just this weird thing that goes on in people's brains when they see an EV, and if they're of a particular persuasion,
Right.
they suddenly just go apeshit and like, lithium mining, and they just like, they can't help themselves. They just vomit out on the
Yeah.
keyboard, and it's like, okay, chill. It's not, you're not buying that car. Don't let it affect you.
Well, and it's like, and it's, that's obviously the biggest A, number one bullet point, and then B, that's 13 years from now is this regulation we're talking about. C is, will it even happen? It could get changed tomorrow.
A cruel thought I have, probably just say it out loud and regret it later, is that a lot of the people who complain on the car and driver message boards and the road and track shit, when they scream, about, oh my God, everything's gone to, it's trash and all these things, and oh my God, it's just, everything's being mandated to hell, and it's all going to be EVs and stuff. It's like, dude, in 10, 15, 20 years, you won't even be driving. Yeah. You might be 6 feet under. Just based on the demographics here, you probably won't be around.
13 years from now, I'm going to want an EV because they're going to probably be awesome. Even more awesome than they already are. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rhino, none of this is directed at you. It's just, I see this stuff just absolutely cracks me up when I run across message boards where people have this attitude about it. And the way I look at it is, as enthusiasts, we've always been the minority. It's not something that's new when you really pay attention. Yeah. Millions of cars are sold every year. How many of those are actually the performance versions of those cars and stuff? It's exciting. Those are the halo things. Those are the ones that get the eyeballs and the interest. But those aren't the ones that are selling.
2% or 3%.
The Mustang sells God knows how many models every year. But you know what? Not many of them actually, in the grand scheme of things, are the Shelby, 350s and all that stuff. Right. Those are much smaller on the scale. So it's just something. It's always proportional. I just try and argue that.
Dale Earnhardt fan 388. That's
so
great.
Dale Earnhardt fan 388 is a real user on YouTube. Is a channel of spectator drags we were watching.
Oh, okay.
That's a real channel that I watched of spectator drags, and that dude was hilarious. He had the most honest twang.
Really?
It was just really, it was like super into it.
I'm slightly disappointed now because I thought Dan just made up the best user who would have been legitimately upset about our discussion.
Yeah, no. To me, Rhino, I don't get political about it or any of that stuff. The way I look at it is just on a pure logical numbers game. It's not gonna affect us as long as they don't target it specifically at the enthusiast community. Yeah, emissions testing is annoying when you have a car that's old enough. You're like, okay, why even bother? To me, it's just at a certain point, the number of cars that are out there polluting will just be such a small percentage of the overall cars sold.
Yep.
It won't be an issue, and the people who want to keep them should be allowed to continue keeping them, the way Jay Leno has this huge collection of ancient cars, too.
And we have so many technologies that are going to come in support of people being able to pick them. They've got
synthetic fuels,
all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
lots of cool. Like, people are like, 2025. Again, 13 years from now, that's so much time. Think about
I think of what I was doing 13 years ago is very different.
So much time. Yeah.
That was before my time at my day job. But, yeah, Dale Earnhardt fan was mad because a Mach-E GT was beating all the other cars in the drag races. And it's just like, that goddamn electric bullshit. And he's like, it's not a real Mustang. And you're like, oh, God.
That's kind of awesome.
It was pretty funny, though.
I might be a Dale Earnhardt fan.
So Dan says, yo, that 2.3 EcoBoost motor is better than I expected. He had an EcoBoost Mustang when he was here. So he was pushing it and trying it. Dude was so mad. So anyway, not to go off on a wild tangent, but obviously I have some pretty strongly held beliefs. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel like I could talk to an audience once in a while.
It's okay.
But I felt the need to point that out because I see that line of thought appear sometimes and I go, actually, right? That whole thing.
Well, it's the same exact argument that I had with somebody recently because California also said that it's at some date. It might be 2030.
You live in California, so you're affected by these.
So I hear these things and see these things, but I think it might have been. I'm going to make some numbers up, so don't hold me to the exact stuff. But I believe it was like by 2030, you won't be able to buy, or maybe it's even sooner than that. You won't be able to buy gasoline powered like lawn care equipment. And someone's like, I can't believe I can't get a leaf blower. And I thought it was kind of silly too. But then I read something that, again, I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it was something like the average backpack gas tank leaf blower you see these guys using.
Yeah, the guys who are like contractors going out there and like really like blowing off the apartment complex.
Like, I get it. It's going to that will eventually kind of really suck for those guys.
There's a lot of those services.
Again, hopefully battery power can catch up to help these guys.
I've seen the battery tech in some of those. It kicks ass when you see what it can do.
But the point of the article was like, again, I mean, it was a huge number. It was something like your average gas-powered leaf blower, because it doesn't have all of the modern engine EPA regulated.
Oh yeah, they spew more than the average new car.
It was like 400 times the amount that like an 8-cylinder engine puts out over a given amount of time. It was
for a new 8-cylinder car.
Insane. It was something insane. And I had no
I believe
idea.
that.
And when I read that, I'm like, okay,
but
ban them.
It
Fine,
cracks
we'll
me
figure
up.
it out.
Who's gonna be mad that they don't have to hear a guy with a leaf blower at 6 a.m. anymore? Like, and you're like, okay, like
the electric ones aren't
the electric
too much
ones,
quieter, but
the electric ones make noise,
Yeah.
but it is not the same.
And it it starts quickly and they stop quickly.
Also,
and
I realize that like all noise is technically like a vibration or whatever, but you don't feel it in your gut from an electric leaf blower the way you do when it's a piston leaf blower.
Yeah. Wild tangents.
Yeah. Wild tangents.
Hey.
Wild tangents.
Oh, jeez. We're only 11 minutes into the video.
Thank you, Bonnie. I don't know what I would do without somebody calling me out like that.
Fine, we're focused now.
And now we're back to watching about Tony's car. Wild tangents.
We're shutting up.
You can't adjust those at all. You get your fun little graphic.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But so sport just kind of sportens everything up a little bit. Eco turns it all way down, and it doesn't let you have rev matching turned on.
Okay.
The checkered flag button, one press is N mode, so that is everything full tilt, and you can't adjust it in down any.
I'm gonna pause it one more time for a very quick thing because I see Yoshi here. I actually agree with Yoshi, even though I don't think he expected me to agree with it. I don't think EV is the way of the future in the sense that it's the only answer. I think right now there's a lot of people just trying to figure out what the next thing is really going to be. A lot of them have put their bets on EV, which is why you see it going that way. But the infrastructure, all that stuff, all those arguments are valid. I'm not saying they're not.
No.
But I also know that in 10, 15 years, the landscape's going to look a little different.
Yep.
And the battery tech, presumably, will improve with the extra focus and all that stuff on it. I understand the mining, the dirty, all that stuff. There's always going to be concerns about that stuff, and I certainly don't excuse it for all its purposes. I think there's ways to improve efficiencies across the board. I think EV is one step in that, but I do not think that it's the only answer.
Right.
So like we said, with synthetic fuels, and yeah, when somebody brings up like hydrogen fuel cells and stuff, hydrogen fuel cells are one of those things that sounds so good on paper, but the execution is always like lackluster.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, I talked about the Envision 74 concept. That was a hydrogen fuel cell thing that they showed you could make performance-y.
Yep.
And they had some workarounds with it. But yeah, no, it's basically a case where it's not the only answer. And I just wanted people to know that I'm not, like, blinded by that fact.
Well, and again,
there's a lot going on behind the scenes,
through the miracles of the next 10 years that we will undoubtedly develop. There's smart people working on all of these issues top to bottom. Like how to make better batteries, how to mine lithium better, how to make all of this less dirty, how to produce better. I mean, all of these things are being worked on.
And ideally making batteries that don't require those rare earth elements and stuff either.
Well, I mean, lithium is very abundant, but it's just it's a dirty process to mine it.
And
right? So, like,
the locations can be problematic too. So no denying that stuff.
No.
Absolutely not. But it also doesn't change the fact that the world's changing and we got to work with it.
We either have to figure these things out or we won't, I guess.
Yeah. So, we got options. We don't have a lot of time, but we got options.
Yeah. Running out of time.
Anyway, saying I don't disagree, but no, you just caught the tail end of whatever y'all were talking about. I recommend, Yoshi, that actually later you go back and listen to the whole thing we were saying. It felt like a pretty solid tangent. I felt like we were getting some good points in there.
Well, until we got wrestled back in by B. Maisel.
But no, I enjoy listening to the Smoking Tire podcast on occasion, so I missed that one, but I definitely probably know the vibe that he was striking with that particular one. So I'll go see if I can find the one you were talking about. Anyway, e-bikes. Yeah, e-bikes are great. E-bikes over those little gas bikes. I'll take an e-bike any day.
It's awesome.
You could be stealthy on it too. Yep. You like sneak up on your enemies.
Silent.
Okay. So it just balls out.
Yeah,
also the Sauron. Jimmy has that e-bike. Thing's like a ripping little dirt bike.
Control, it's
all can go fast AF. It's spooky fast.
On the put you in N custom, which is what this menu is.
Okay.
So you can go in and individually adjust every
watch this video
adjustable
now.
portion
I promise.
of the powertrain and chassis that allow you to. So you can see here, my N custom is normal suspension or normal steering, just to kind of bring the ride compliance back.
Yeah.
But everything else is maxed out.
Okay, crazy. So that's
Damn, we're not breaking
what's
that
interesting
record.
about this.
I promise.
I don't have any of this on any of my vehicles, and so I'm already impressed.
You're blowing
right?
his mind.
You've
now.
already done enough, Hyundai and Tony. Right? You've already impressed me. This is great. I'm not used to these fancy gizmos and gadgets, but
Thanks, Yoshi.
okay.
I'll check
So
it out tomorrow.
if I just wanted to put it in mode, right?
Yep. You just hit the checker flag one time. That's it. Everything's
Okay.
maxed out.
Okay.
It does turn rev matching on, and
Okay.
it makes it the most aggressive rev matching. You can turn it off with the
Also
rev
true,
button there
Dan.
on the steering wheel.
Okay.
But other than that, that's it. That's all you
Dude.
get.
Traction controls down here, right? Typically, we'll probably leave that on.
Yeah.
And then
But it does kind of tune it back a little bit, so it's not as
Okay, I'm gonna throw one more thing out there just to throw a spice bomb out into the audience.
Just kidding.
So in terms of clean renewable energy, yes, solar won't cut it. Yes, air won't cut it. Agree on all those things.
Yeah, we're getting laughed at.
They do the thing. However, I am personally a proponent of nuclear energy. I find that it
Absolutely.
is a totally viable
It's actually
one to have
super
out
clean.
there, and it makes me so sad when I see these other countries kind of blindly turning down their
Germany,
nuclear.
right, is
Yeah,
shutting theirs
like
off?
Germany shutting their programs down in lieu of these other systems. It's like
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to make up the deficit. Just in terms of the energy return you get, nuclear goes so much further.
And again,
So
Curveball.
I know, right? I know, but see, that's one where I think some people, when they hear you defend EVs and thing, they think you think a particular way, so they're like, aha, and they'll throw that at you.
Yeah.
But no, I actually support nuclear energy. I think that that's a totally viable way of going.
well, and again, we're not. It's not a common knowledge education thing that we've been taught. That I recently saw something just like this leaf blower that I had no idea.
You gotta get the nuclear,
the
nuclear.
That the entire Earth's amount of waste from all of the nuclear reactors and energy
Yeah.
and all this for over time is something that can fit in a 2,000 square foot house or something. It's
Yeah.
a tiny amount of waste total from the Earth
Yeah.
from all the time.
I
So it's
think the scaremongering is so out of line.
Yeah.
The way they've improved the tech and the safety and everything. Yes, Fukushima is on my mind. I'm not thinking about
Right.
Fukushima, but not everywhere has the same circumstances
we had to
that
learn.
led to that.
We had to learn from a few
So,
things. Yeah.
not denying that there are hazards occasionally, but if you're gonna make the stuff work and you want EVs to be part of the
Halfway through the
solution,
video,
you gotta have your nuclear. Okay, halfway through the video, I'm a proponent of nuclear energy. Okay, you're welcome. This is what happens. This is what happens.
Tune in to see a Hyundai Veloster N, and it's like, what are your thoughts on nuclear?
I feel like there's just I'm responding to an imaginary commenter in my head. It's not any of you guys, but I know I hear the old man screaming from his keyboard.
Now,
in
Dane,
the
I would encourage you to make that old man type that argument in there before you
Yeah.
argue with him.
well, I am famously good at just straw manning up a situation and letting other people punch it. So yeah. Anyway, here we go.
God.
Okay. 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 Okay.
haven't
So
even
let you
gotten to
kinda
the
get
driving
a little bit of
portion
maybe
yet.
a little spin, maybe.
Yep. Let's see
So-
a little swirly.
All right, man. Okay, so let's.
Here we
I
go.
know he's gonna drive. Woo!
I can't believe that exhaust is stock.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And the fact you can turn it off when you don't want to hear it. If you want
That's
to
right.
sneak out of the
Who doesn't?
Now, that's the
I
right
guess
answer,
that's true,
Yoshi.
right? Let's just say you have a not you, but I'm just saying maybe somebody has an extra girlfriend on the side or something like that, right?
yeah.
What the
And they
hell,
don't want to be
Anthony?
known for the sound of their car, right? They're able to get away nice and sneaky like.
In quiet mode.
The gearbox, I mean, the first 2 shifts I've done,
Does it pump any sound
Nice and
into the
notchy.
cabin?
it has a nice
Not
notchy feel
through
to
the
it.
speakers.
Okay.
It's not terrible.
It did have
Could be
a
Like a
little more
composer,
It
though,
did
or
have like a
something?
little vibrating box
So
thing.
that's
I
so
actually
in
unplugged.
my
Okay.
last
So
night.
this
when
is
I
what
was
it
getting
sounds
lost
like
on
from your
YouTube,
side.
right?
When it was very
I
cold.
I
that
kind of
little
started watching
box
videos
would
of people comparing
rattle.
this car to other cars,
That's
and
just
then there
from
were
it being
some
cold.
comparisons
That
that
actually
kind of
was
made
the
sense
only
and others that
getting
didn't make
part of the
sense.
car.
So
Okay.
But most
I
people
saw
plug
that they
it
were
anyway 'cause they
comparing
only wanna
this
hear it.
to like
Yeah.
a Type
I
R
get you.
in terms of maybe performance
I prefer
in
that
that
over
kind of
the speaker
category,
thing.
performance and price range. But this is cheaper than a Type R
Can't do it.
by like I don't know.
I think
what,
that's probably why we're on
$5,000,
tangents
$6,000?
are just ADHD enough.
Okay.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
still about that,
I
actually.
don't
Okay.
exhibit it
Well,
nearly as
well,
much when I'm
technically,
not
though, I mean,
streaming, but for some
the,
reason it
Type
comes
R
out
is
when I
now
have all
brand
these
new,
shiny
right?
objects in front
36
of me,
or like
and a person to
37,000
talk to, and I'm like,
cameras.
have you ever
used
thought
now
about...
with like 30,000 miles, you can get one for like 42. What a good deal, right? Fantastic deal.
Coffee talk.
So, and that's what's interesting about this whole ordeal. Oh man.
Let me tell you.
So I thought I did that. I was gonna take credit for that. Damn, dude. You know what I would do? I would have somebody in the passenger seat and they'd be like, dude, are you doing that? I'm like, I am doing that. Isn't that perfect every single time? Those perfect rev matches?
What?
Going back to what I was saying, though, isn't that perfect every single time? Somebody in the passenger seat.
There.
Dude, are you doing that? I'm like, I am doing that. Isn't that
something.
perfect every single time? Those
keep
perfect rev
cruising.
matches? Going back to what I was saying, though, in terms of the comparison test, that's what makes it kind of hard is because I'm a Honda guy, right? And so, but funny enough, I've never driven the new Type R, right? And I love the newer look of the FK Type R. I think that this new Type R they're coming out with here, but in fall, I think they're announcing it this summer, also looks pretty wild as well. But I mean, it just seems like it seemed like a realistic car for a lot of people because of maybe the price point, right? But now, like I said, being used with like 30,000 miles, you're still paying $42,000, right? Maybe after everything's said and done, 45, 46. After all
their bikes away from home,
man, that's quite a bit of money. But I mean, you're getting the Type R, and you're getting
time away from you guys.
What Honda is built, right? Whereas Hyundai, from my understanding, they do rally their cars. They are in the performance world, very much so. And this is the whole inline is their ability to be able to get that into the hands of consumers.
That's exactly it.
I'm one of those like firm believers that like AC extracts, well, at least on a Honda, dude. You turn on the AC, you turn off the AC,
lift it off.
and it's like hitting boost. It's like, it's insane. So that's why I'm like, even on new cars, they're like, no, it doesn't affect it that much. I'm like, dude,
on this
I want the full non-AC experience.
Because it doesn't sound artificial.
All right, we ready to do this?
It sounds very natural in how it
here who I don't
produces
want to piss off, but no way, dude.
It chirps.
No way.
Yep.
That is wild. Right out of the box?
Out of the box.
Obviously, it's
No
can't
way.
convey
I'm about to
torque
kill
on
this
camera very
bird.
well, but,
That's
he's
not
pulling
moving.
hard.
Yeah.
What?
The point stands though. It feels
That's
good to
pretty
drive.
well.
from
Granted, I drove the
everything
Honda
he
over here,
told
so
me
I'm like,
about it.
like
I
not
rode it,
refreshed
so I got a
on
sense of how it
performance stuff
handles.
at all right now.
Yeah, like obviously there's no way to tell.
Oh
but your
my
head's
God, the
pressed
pops.
into
Yeah.
the headrest pretty well right there.
Dude.
giggling.
Oh,
Well,
man.
remember, he's coming from a D
Rev
series
match
Honda.
downshift. I know these roads
He
pretty
has an
well, so you don't
Evo,
have to
so-
be too
True.
too concerned.
If I recall, he kind of equated it to his Evo a little bit.
Yeah, he said the Evo was a little more like turbo laggy.
He has super mild tune on it, where
Yeah.
he's like at about 330, I want to say.
Okay.
At the
But this is like 270-ish, something
yeah,
like that.
but like 276, 278, something like that
Yeah.
is what that has stock, and that's crank, not wheel, right?
Mhm.
So wheel, you're probably, but it's at the front wheels and the engine's right there. It's probably not much loss.
Yeah, and there's some stock dyno tuning or dyno stuff that suggests it might be a little underrated. So it's
okay.
It's
Maybe
it's
closer
healthy.
to 3.
It's healthy, yeah.
Kind of. Okay. That would make sense.
Oh my god, dude. No way. Dude, it's going like 20 miles an hour here. Move it or lose it, sister. I'm in a Hyundai right now. I'm having fun. I like the sketchiness of Boost. I like turbo lag. I think it makes things fun. But I understand that for daily driving or for more performance-oriented stuff, people don't want to wait around for the Boost. They want it right then and there. So you get
I like
that. The
turbo
punchiness,
lag because it
the
does
torque
make
is there.
the
Sorry, I
whole
can't even talk right now. I'm so excited. I got dry mouth of how cool this
has a
is.
little-
But there's a limit.
Yeah,
like
it
the
has a little,
punchiness
but
is
it's
there.
not-
But
not
also
enough
you
to
have
scare
things
you
to
or,
look
like, make
forward
you
to,
lose
and this
control.
only revs up to 6.5,
68 or ish.
68. Okay, I might be able to.
You got it.
Yep.
He short shifted it right there. You gotta let it go.
Yeah,
Dude.
he didn't wind it out
And the
like he should
brakes
have.
feel freaking great. Holy crap,
Granny shit, not double clutching like you should.
dude. God, this thing is fun, man. This thing is so much fun. Because I'm driving this right now, I'm like,
that's the sign of a good
how do
car.
you not? Yeah, how do you not have fun in this, right?
Every day.
but it communicates
so
well.
for reference here, in terms of kind of what I've driven,
Absolutely.
Well,
that's what I personally
about
run
a year
it
ago,
on
I drove a Focus
the comfort
RS, right?
steering.
And I got to kind of rip on it just a little bit. And
you don't need it to
that
beat
was
you up
one of
for
those
no
cars
reason.
where I was pretty
that's
underwhelmed. I know that might be rude to say, but I was underwhelmed because I was expecting more, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody talks about, how kind of how crazy it is, and that
like
power
we're
band
ducking
felt
down to see.
just like the linearness was
like we're ducking
too
because we
boring,
think it's gonna
I guess you could
help, but it
say.
won't.
And then
Totally.
the interior,
Oh,
wait,
there is
what was
an
on that?
Integra
Yeah, there's like an
GSR on there,
Integra.
dude.
I was like, what's on that
Clean one.
truck back there?
Integra, boring, I guess
There's a
Okay, so
nice
the top one
BMW.
is an M5,
you could say.
and then it looks
Oh,
like a
just like the linearness was too boring, I guess you could say.
that's a Jeep Grand Cherokee, so not too
Say-
exciting there.
Prius or something.
That's a Triumph
Oh, yeah,
Spitfire
Spitfire.
on like Mags.
An old square body
Yeah.
Chevy. Is that what
And
that's
You
in
got
the
a
back?
square body Chevy, you got a
The
Honda
int-
Odyssey, and then you got
There's an Integra.
one of those weird electric golf carts and a nice Teggy right at the back.
Hmm.
I don't know. I had to look.
Yeah.
Oh, there is an Integra
He only
GSR
saw
on
the
there, dude.
Integra. Me, I'm like,
Clean
ooh,
one.
Spitfire.
Honda.
Should we? You want to go heist that thing really
He
quick?
got that Honda Vision.
I think we have the power to be able to do it, right?
It's a fork engine. So
Bonnie, if only you knew.
I'm gonna have. What I'll do is I'll have
Greatest
you.
reaction.
There's no sunroof, so you're gonna have to go out the hatch with a harpoon. We're gonna harpoon
Oh,
onto
Bonnie,
the
I
onto
have
the
a
vehicle,
shameless
right?
request for
We're
you.
gonna,
If
hopefully
you
don't
click
pull events
follow
and
on
get
my
stuck
channel,
there.
I would really
But,
appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. I am sorry, guys. I know I'm like a squirrel right now, but this is
You're like a squirrel.
genuinely
Then what does that make us?
so much
Yeah.
better than what I thought it was gonna be. And then from there, it was about a week ago. I was in the United Kingdom. God, dude,
Riding in that Yaris.
this thing feels freaking great, and the pads are stock.
stock pads, and we're on all season tires.
God,
All seasons,
Dude,
man.
it
They
comes
look
with summers,
pretty
obviously,
aggressive
these
for all
stick
seasons.
They were Michelin.
Hey, thank you. See,
There it is.
There it is.
Followed you. Yeah, Michelin Pilot Sport, all AS4s.
Oh, okay. Then yeah,
Yeah.
if they're Pilot Sports, they're yeah.
God, dude, I freaking love that. Sorry, back to what I was saying. I was in the UK,
The
right?
part that makes me
And
so
I-
sad is the fact that he genuinely loved driving this car, but the only reason he would never get it is because his channel wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
Subscribe for
there-
Dates
there
Wild
isn't-
Tangents. Thank you.
There
bud.
isn't the 30 years of history with something like this to warrant an audience that would care enough.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and that's
sadly.
fair.
Cocaine
ADD
supplement.
squirrels on cocaine supplemented coffee.
I got to
Jeez.
sit shotgun and a GR Yaris. And the Yaris was something I was like, it was one of my
That Yaris
dream,
was a wild
not dream
little thing.
cars, but it's one of my like bucket list things. I wanted to experience
for sure,
a
same.
GR Yaris and see what that was all about, especially because that
I really
motor is
like
going to be
the-
coming
the
in the
little
Corolla, right?
accents they did on that
And the
particular
Corolla
one,
is
too.
something
It's
that we're
just
all looking
very
forward to
aggressive
because,
looking for a little
3-cylinder,
guy.
all-wheel drive, turbo, like just a hot car, right? Everything that we want. And I'm thinking, okay, if I get a taste of the engine and the Yaris, then I'll kind of know what to expect from the Corolla. Well, I sat in the passenger seat for 2 days. I'm talking, this guy ripped on it, dude. We were having a ton of fun in this
I
car.
rode in it when he ripped on
but
it, too.
that
It
power
was,
band was fun, but too linear.
Just hooked
Exactly,
up.
And
it was
I'm sure
linear,
that could
though.
probably be
That's
fixed
right.
by
So
tuning.
it basically it did not feel slow.
Didn't feel any-
Nobody should think it feels slow.
But
It
no
felt
turbo.
it felt fast, quick in its own way, but at the same time, there was no waiting for the boost to build. I mean, if you're in a performance car and you're on the track, you want that performance right away.
Sure.
But if you're driving it for fun as an enthusiast, a little bit of lag, even though it's not advantageous for the driver on the track,
Yeah.
it is advantageous for fun,
Yeah.
theatrics, that kind of stuff, the drama of it. And if you're missing out on that, it doesn't quite feel as intense.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, Anthony's talked about his buddy Jason has an Evo
Right.
that has been built up, but he also bought a Corvette C7 Z06. And so the Z06, in terms of performance, it's pretty similar to like my Jag now that it's got the tune. They're pretty evenly matched.
Okay.
But in his, Anthony was like, yeah, it felt really fast. Like it was pushing in the back of your seat. It's like 655 horses and it's paddle shifted. And
lot.
yeah. And it tears it up and it's a little tail happy, but at the same time, it doesn't feel as terrifying as the Evo that's been tuned for 550 horsepower. Guy has 2 cars. The Evo makes 100 horsepower less, but feels 10 times scarier.
Wow.
Is what Anthony said. And he goes, the scary is what makes it fun.
Right, yeah.
So when you're launching in that, he just describes it as violent. He just says the whole thing is like shaking and rattling and buzzing itself, but it's like clawing at the, you see him at a drag strip where they take off.
Apart.
The whole thing is just, the way it sounds is scary too, but it's awesome. So I'll find a video clip later to show you, but it definitely, I understand what he's talking about there. So same thing with your car. Your car has more fun to it. The Yaris felt more like, gotta do this, it's my purpose, I gotta go fast.
Pedestrian power.
Yeah, but like linear, when you have a turbo, that's not as exciting.
Yeah.
Linear, you just add more displacement and have naturally aspirated and you get the same experience.
Yeah. Supercharged.
Or maybe just throw on a bigger turbo, but like I said, there's that excitement of turbo lag that I love, and it could just be because I'm an Evo owner.
Talk about the chaparral.
That's how we do things. Is turbo lag, but and so I'm looking forward to the Corolla coming out. But my brother had a Mazda Speed 3.
What you talking about,
First gen Mazda Speed 3. Those cars are a riot, right? But arguably almost too overpowered for what they were, because you get so much just wheel spin on those.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you can spin second.
It'd be funny. You'd be looking in the mirror and you're like, is that it?
And those are very much like a roll race car.
It'd be really funny if you were moving his mouth to match him, though, just mouthing random words.
Yeah.
Just to line it up and fake out the audience.
Yeah.
Spook him, because you know what? You got glasses. You got a face, maybe convince them.
And I drove that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I
literally
I love that car,
fist.
but it felt like a boat when I was driving. Whereas this doesn't really feel like a boat at all.
What you have
this
just
feels very nimble, very light on its feet. Do you know how much this thing weighs?
3,000 and change, like under 3,100 pounds.
Under 3,100.
Yeah. That's a good weight balance for that. That's a big reason why a car like that feels fun.
Dude,
if it were heavier, you'd lose a lot of that.
With the windows down. I mean, we have to for wind noise.
Yeah. Sometimes they're
what a blast!
I remember you had a couple where they popped off and it was like, oh, damn.
Dude.
Like they were tight, but they weren't artificial sounding.
No. Well, and it really is like an anti-lag system. It dumps the fuel down and keeps the turbo cooled.
Because when I hear freaking people complain about crackle, pop, burble tunes, whatever.
Really ripping on
I hate them on certain cars.
Yeah.
I don't hate them on all cars. I hate them on certain cars.
God, dude.
Focus STs, annoying.
Yeah.
BMW 3 Series, annoying. M3s, M4s, annoying.
Honda Civics.
You have to get over the badge
Honda
thing.
Civics,
Right?
annoying.
And for you, was that an issue at all, or was the badge thing not even...
No, I mean, so I
Hood
came out
exit
of,
exhaust on a
Mazda
cracked out B
to a
Series, okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah. So
Okay, a BRZ to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, the
There's a
badge
whole
thing
group
wasn't
there.
an
Trying
issue
to
at
run
all.
people over. Yeah.
It just was one of those things where once I saw that they had brought on Albert Bierman, they poached him from BMW.
There's the Albert
and
Bierman
he
top.
started making these cars and putting a lot of money, and obviously the warranty still.
Now you're just saying what we already said.
What's the warranty on that?
So from if you buy a new
I don't know.
off the
Do you want
lot,
me to make you
it's
watch the
10-year,
whole video, or are you
100,000
pretty
miles.
good with like bits and pieces?
Oh no, whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Whatever.
We're pretty
He
far
drives-
along.
That's pretty much it. Honestly, he drives a little bit more.
Because I think I'll let him romp it through this little area, and then
Yeah.
I'm going to cut to the end where you guys do a little recap.
Sure.
So
At least
10-year,
I'm
100,000 mile powertrain, 5-year, 50,000 on the.
I was talking about the warranty for
All
crying
right,
out
this
loud.
Somehow turned into a repeat
Wow.
of our whole conversation.
I've not
the
watched this
the
video since it
drive-bys
came out.
The drive-bys are kind of fun.
Okay. We'll do that.
That is.
Yes, I
That's
made
great.
him put it in custom.
Thank you so
on this
much for letting me
bumpy
do this,
section.
man.
Oh.
This is
to loosen
this
the
is
suspension,
definitely
'cause it
what I
would've
was
rattled
hoping it
our
would
teeth
be.
out of it.
Okay.
Here's the drive-bys.
God, dude. That is too much fun. I also got a surprise for you. Got
Playing
an
on
All
my
Day
phone.
Anthony shirt just for you.
No
Yes.
way.
And it's like heather gray, but then there's like the logo.
Sweet.
It's on. You'll see. It's on the bottom.
Thank
It's a subtle shirt. And
Thank
so,
you, I appreciate it.
I thought I had to do something.
It is
so,
cooler than
dude,
normal
thank
shirt.
you
The
so
logo's
much,
just
man.
down on the bottom
Yeah.
of the
This
corner, and
is-
that's it.
It's fun, huh?
Dude, it's a blast. I guess the.
I love how
people
everyone
need to
else
get over
is
the whole
already
badge.
tired.
It's fun. Like you said, they need to get out and
right.
try it. Which, hey, if anybody's near me, look me up on Instagram. You know, you can come drive it. I don't care who you are.
Well, you gotta be
You're
careful.
like,
You gotta
I'm
be careful.
regretting
You're
saying
gonna get
that
like 50 people.
Nobody's
Hey, man.
done over.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to
Okay.
drive it.
Single person.
So what's the Instagram for your...
It's Roll in a Veloster, all one word.
Roll in a Veloster.
Roll in a Veloster.
Dude,
yeah.
hell yeah, man. That's
Rollina.
this
Rollina.
definitely changed my thought on the whole Hyundai badge thing. I mean, like again, you got to get out there and experience it for yourself. I mean, crap, dude, if they're throwing this motor into the Elantra and then this and then who knows what they're doing in the future in terms of the whole, you know, motorsport world.
Yep.
It's like it's kind of exciting. And
I'd heard that pretty much Bierman's already retiring, isn't he?
I mean, I think he's basically given him a roadmap at this point.
Hopefully.
So the hope is
It's like
they
don't-
continue with those philosophies.
less shitty, more power, pops and bangs.
I'm hearing get good.
Yeah, get good. noob. You plan to mod the Veloster.
Downpipe in a tune.
Because I'm not a wrench, even simple mods kind of scare me a little bit. But I have a friend that's a little bit of a mechanically inclined, so maybe someday, downpipe in a tune, something like that.
I feel you there though, because I'm in a similar boat to where I'm a huge car enthusiast, and I would put my encyclopedic knowledge of random car shit up against anybody.
Yeah.
But I would not ever deign to say that I am a master wrench or anything, because frankly, when it comes to fixing cars, I am kind of a bit of a wuss, and I will happily pay someone else to do it, who knows more than me, who is familiar with a particular sub brand or this model or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what you're doing, just go for it. I appreciate you.
Well, if I end up keeping it that long too, honestly, like I'll probably wear the warranty out before I do anything that could be suggested broke the car, were something to break. I wouldn't want to have that fight with Hyundai, so I'll probably just mostly keep it to cosmetic or maybe an intake or something simple until the warranty runs out, and then maybe go a little more crazy after that. So
that's fair.
Once all bets are off.
I look at the comments and I realize my comment is the first comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dane won't deign to do something. Yeah, I kind of deliberately chose that word. So, okay. I'm making the comment because I was annoyed with his Honda fans, and I'm like, be more open-minded, you friggin' yes man.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, based on this, not everyone's on the Hyundai train, and that's okay. It is not okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be the Hyundai train. Just like something other than that simple one thing you like.
Well,
expand your horizons.
He's like, it's car enthusiast content.
Yes.
See, that was my hope.
And I upvoted that guy, and look, nobody else did.
Not even me.
No. Wow, you should have. Wow. Okay, they like the little snippet with the, comment there. When I drove the VN, Veloster N.
Yep.
I went in with low expectations. I was blown away. Super fun car. I liked it so much, I went and bought one as a daily. Badge wasn't an issue for me. I'm just a normal guy in a Hyundai. You know what? That's fine. Goals. License plate is pretty sick. I like what you said about the interior because you were being as honest as you could without sounding rude. What? Well, okay. The interior is basic but does the job, and the car already has decent creature comfort features.
Yeah.
The interior gets the job done and doesn't try to be anything more than it should. All that's true, but I mean, coming from a guy who's in a late 90s, early 2000 Civic,
it's fantastic.
The interior is it's a friggin' spaceship compared to.
It is true, and it could be argued that even one of the cheaper models in the line has much nicer interior materials and stuff, but they decontented the N, I think, honestly, to keep costs down.
Because you put the money into the drivetrain.
You get
and
the
so
engine
you want it to be affordable enough that the enthusiasts get it, because the enthusiast, depending on the type of enthusiast they are, they're looking at a hot hatch, an affordable hot hatch. They're not going to concern themselves with
Alcantara,
soft touch materials and all that stuff if it means they can get their driving experience a little cheaper, but the quality isn't taken away. It's simply the touch point quality is reduced. If everything else remains high quality, great.
Which I don't care, because honestly, it's easier to clean. It's all
That's
plastic.
also
wipe
true.
it all down.
That's also a fair point. So, true story, I tried scheduling a test drive for one of these, and I was so close until I had to enter my age, and I was only 17, but I had my license. They refused.
Oops,
Oh,
bummer.
yeah. I don't know. Were there any that like got you off guard when you were reading the comments, or did you not read the comments?
I read through them a few times. I went back a few times and checked, and I even replied to one guy that was like, "You drove 12 hours to do this," and I was like,
"Oh God, there's always one."
I was in town for other things.
So like he didn't know that.
Yeah.
What did you do to the rims? Lol, it looked terrible. Jesus. Okay, guy.
Oh, that was only 3 weeks ago. So hey, thanks for the view, Gaming Genie.
I sorted these by new, so now I wanted to see what's here that
so
we haven't seen.
I wouldn't have seen them if they're this new.
Hyundai. Okay.
All right.
Careful on those AS4s. I burned mine half down on one bogus run, totally doing the speed limit without a grip. No way, dude.
Guy.
What?
Interesting.
Really?
I haven't.
How?
I haven't checked the tread on them with like a gauge, but I haven't noticed it. I haven't visibly noticed anything. But maybe I will.
Bogus is like recently paved in parts too. It shouldn't be doing that much wear and tear. It really shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know, man. That sounds wrong, especially for all seasons.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're performance-y all seasons, but still, they're all seasons. They should be able to hold up to one run, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, I've owned an N for a year now. It's easily my favorite car. I can't imagine something better for the price. Makes me smile and laugh daily. Farting on slower car. Interesting choice of words there, bud.
Plop, 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 plop.
On the Vienna, it's so good for the mic. Okay, so we got some love in there.
Yeah.
Meaty tire better than stretch tire. Agree.
There you go.
You know, good fitment is important if you're concerned about aesthetics. Totally agree there, but meaty tire. Yeah. Meaty's good. Not sure if you ever mentioned if you had the performance pack on this one with the LSD and 275 as opposed to 250. Is it only 250? I thought they were all 275.
No, so he's right. So for 2019 and 20 for sure, and I don't remember when the cutoff was, but there was a performance pack option, which was wheels, brakes. So that's how you got the Brembos.
Nice. Okay.
A slightly differently shaped air intake and a tune that puts it at 275. So mine does have that. But for a couple of years there, you could unfortunately buy a Veloster N without the performance pack, and they're kind of like the redheaded stepchildren.
So on the used market, you got to be careful. That's not what you're getting into unless you're willing to accept those downsides. Although I imagine it's fairly easy to upgrade them.
It's I think you can do obviously like your own aftermarket intake and tune, and dial most of it out. But it's the brakes I think are the hardest thing because they're super expensive from Hyundai.
Okay. Well, what gets you the extra 25 horses? It just breathes better?
It's the stock tune on it. It's the factory tune. It's two different factory tunes.
So it's simply the tune?
Yes.
So
and I guess maybe in conjunction with the air intake.
Okay.
Is how they...
Because I was going to say, is it maybe an intake and exhaust situation or something that sounds about right for those kinds of gains outside of like if you're messing with the ECU, you can do all kinds of incremental stuff. Yeah. But yeah, just interesting. So, okay. I want one now. Nice to see. All right. That's so not so bad. I feel like in the end, we got there. Yeah. And it only took us an hour and 20 minutes to get through one video. So
and we
success.
skipped through the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Success.
And Dan very generously offered to just fly him out. And then he works on my car with me.
Too nice, Dan.
That would be nice.
That is nice. All right. So now we can move on.
Guest room.
Eventually. Now we can watch a donut video, which I know some people are like, oh, why are you watching donut? I think for people who aren't as familiar with detailing, it's fun to kind of just get a glimpse into high-level stuff, not getting into the weeds just yet. Something where it kind of makes people stop and go, oh, okay, let's think about this for a second. So we might very well debunk this debunking video. I don't know. Let's watch it and find out. Because I have no idea what they're going to say.
Dan's like, wait, what? I wonder what he's waiting about.
He's wait, what?
Okay. The other day, I was taking my Camaro out for a spin when a jerk of a bird pooped on my hood. Now, while that was only mildly annoying, immediately after that, an entire roster of birds, a full attack crew, decided my car was their splat target for today.
Birdemic 2.
So, not to be shown up by a bird, I pulled into a nearby car wash. And I got to thinking, what are all these mystery chemicals getting doused on my beloved catfish? Could any of these liquids be bad for my paint? And I chose the most expensive option, the one with that fancy tri-colored foam. Was that worth the cost, or did I just get screwed? Well, I don't like getting screwed. ever. So today we're going full Bill Nye on car soap.
my
We're going to see what
God.
juice really comes out of those
Oh,
sprayers
boy.
and figure out if you should just skip the automated car wash completely. You think you can just lure me in with foam, huh? Not today!
They look like they have fun.
Yeah.
Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's
Okay,
video.
great.
Skillshare is an
Skillshare.
online learning community with thousands
Okay,
of books,
I know
inspiring
Skillshare.
Oh, look,
classes.
it won't
Check out
let you.
storytelling.
It won't let you skip
It's making me
There
move
are no
over on
ads.
the thing
So
that's
better
so
to
funny.
Gotcha. I
doubt.
thought it was like
Oh, let's get
Yeah.
back to
skip
B2B.
proof ad suddenly. Like,
No.
hang on.
Car wash.
Skillshare. Now,
I just had
let's
to
get
move
back,
back.
to
That's
B2B.
so funny though.
The car wash biz is a booming. And by booming, I mean $28 billion booming. All in the sake of keeping entropy at bay. Your car, it's got a natural tendency to become dirty. But what does it mean to be dirty? The biggest contributor to getting your car dirty is actually oil. When you're driving around the less than pristine streets of Los Angeles,
car wash
the
must
grime
have
of the
really
road
good
gets
insurance
flung
or
up onto your
airtight
car
waiver.
where
Yeah.
dust, pollen, or
I just think they
actual
didn't tell
dirt.
them that.
Yeah, no, I
clean
think they just
content.
went through and
Splat a
didn't
bug,
ask.
that's
Yeah.
bonus oil. When a bird poops on your car, that's got oil in it too, and some other things, which we're gonna get to. But at the end of the day, the reason you need soap to clean your car is because of oil. If we were to zoom into the molecular level, we can see why we need that soap. Water, it's a polar molecule. It has an uneven distribution of electron density. When
Don't
oxygen
tell
and
Princess
hydrogen
Washer
bond to form
uses
water,
this.
they form by covalent bonds with their electrons.
Why you need
And these
soap?
electrons favor one side of the molecule where oxygen
think this is
present,
more soap in
creating a very
concept.
highly negative
So,
area. On the
You
other
can use
side,
soap
you now have a more
interchangeably
positive.
with a rinseless
A
wash in
thing
this
to
case.
bond to the contaminant.
A thing that's chemically intended to remove
Yes.
what you need to remove from the finish of your vehicle. End of story. But does it leave anything behind? Ah!
Oh, and ours is a king.
And for people who
can't
don't know
dethrone
me
a
at my
king.
day job, you won't understand why that triggers me, but it does.
Positive area due to the protons of the hydrogen atom. And because of this, we now have a polar molecule. You got a positive side and you got a negative side. On the other hand, oil, it doesn't have poles. And because of this, these oil molecules are hard to bond with, like you and your stepdad. Now, if you've ever tried to wash a greasy thumbprint off your car with just water, you know from experience it doesn't work. But back in the Roman years, some smarty pants figured out that if you took a fatty acid, some sort of animal fat, and you mixed it with an alkaline substance, that's something that
They
has
just
a
wanted to
pH
say
greater
fat
than
acid.
7,
Alkaline.
you can make a material that would connect water and oil, a material called soap. Soap molecules are great for bridging water and oil because it shares
I hate to admit the way I learned that soap is made is from the movie Fight Club.
the qualities of each of them. The alkaline substance in soap gives it a polar head at one end that is hydrophilic, so it bonds to water. On the other end, that fatty acid of soap gives it a long tail of hydrogen and carbon atoms. Those bond with the oil. So when the soap is bound on both sides, it suspends the oil, lifting it off the surface. So I have here a jar that has oil and water in it. And as you can see, these two, they don't mix. And I can shake it, I can try my hardest to get them to bond, but it won't happen. But when I add in a little bit of soap and I shake it and I wait, the mixture doesn't separate. The soap has bound the two together.
Interesting.
Okay, great. So now we know how soap works. But when you go
That's
to a car
honestly a
wash,
good
there are
example
multiple
to show
types of
people
liquids getting
are
sprayed
new to
all
this
over your
stuff
car.
and don't understand
There's a
how it's
pre-soap,
supposed to
there's a
work.
shampoo,
So
there's
that's
the
actually great.
tri-foam.
Wasn't bad.
Are all of these just different variations of soap? Well, the car wash we chose to do our testing is a true touchless car wash. It uses
Good
high
choice.
pressure
Yeah.
sprayers to help clean your car. Instead of using a physical touch like a wash mitt to aid in lifting the oil and dirt away, it uses low and high pH chemicals to dissolve the dirt.
They do the
Now,
shock
pH, it's just a
system.
measure of how acidic or basic a liquid is. There's a range, and it goes from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral, right dab in the middle. But pH is really a measure of the relative amount of free hydrogen and hydroxyl ions in the solution. There's even an equation for it if you really want to nerd out while you turd out. But for the sake of this video, the pH of soap determines the chemical aggressiveness of its oil lifting potential and which types of yucky stuff it attacks best. So let's
See,
start
this is
off with the
from
pre-soap. It's
June
like the shower at
2021,
the
so this
pool
is
that
still when
nobody
they were
uses.
doing
And
good
depending on which
quality
wash
videos.
you
This
go
is
through
good.
will determine
Yeah.
the pH level.
I feel
of
like
the
this would
pre-soap.
actually help
Low pH
people who
pre-soaks help
didn't
by
know
removing
how this stuff
inorganic
worked.
materials, things like sand
And
or salt. If
fortunately,
you live in areas where they
nearly
salt the roads in
over
the winter.
1.5 million
High
people
pH
watched it,
pre-soaks
so
help clean
good
away
job.
the organic stuff. That's sap and bugs and greases. They also help neutralize any acid that's left over on your car's paint. Acid, like bird poop. Bird poop contains a chemical called uric acid. The uric acid lowers the pH levels in bird poop down to between 3 to 4.5. That's plenty low for their previous meal to etch your paint. So if a bird poops on your car, you gotta get it off of there. Get it off. So let's look at the pH of the pre-soak at this car wash. For that, we're gonna sample some of this soap and run a few tests. Science.
Oh God. Yeah. Right.
Got a water bottle in there with
He's got. Oh, I was gonna say he has no mouth covering though. Oh God.
Should have got
So
him
I
a
expected
full
this
face.
pre-soak to have a relatively high pH, and it did. It makes sense, right? If you live in a city, you're going to want a high pH pre-soak to help clean off all that city grime and oil that gets accumulated on your car when you hit the mean streets of Los Angeles. Now let's get to the soapy part of the wash.
Yeah, why did he pick the pants that were going to be the absolute worst for that scenario?
Billions of soaps.
So what makes one better or worse or more pricey than the other? Well, it boils down to what are the active ingredients or the cost of developing those active ingredients. Newer car wash soaps contain ingredients that are specifically made to better penetrate under the surface of the dirt, encapsulating it so it's easier to be removed. When talking automated car washes, those types of soaps require less water so they can save in operating costs. The pH of your shampoo is also important depending on the grime level of your ride. See, not all areas in the world have the same type of dirty cars. If you don't live in a city where you get a lot of road grime and the oil variety thrown all over your car, you're not going to want a soap with a high pH. You want a neutral or low pH soap that lifts and holds
It's
soil
insightful commentary. There you go.
Preparing your car for the next step in the wash.
I'm just being quiet because I'm actually enjoying
Tri-Foam.
listening.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the psychology of it, but there is something mesmerizing about watching a car get all sudsy. But
It's true.
we're here for science, so what exactly is that
good for
stuff doing?
views.
Well, Tri-Foam acts as either a conditioner
if it's a
or
YouTube
polisher
video and you're a
or
detailer,
both,
it's for the views.
depending on the car wash. The difference between the two
Rinseless
is
wash
that
will do
conditioners help clean the car, while
99% of
polish
what you
contains
need.
a certain amount of wax and polishing compound in addition to the cleaner in it. The Tri-Foam is a
Honey, I
neutral
need
to
to know which
acidic
town
solution,
doesn't have
and its
road
end goal
grime.
is to help prepare the clear coat for
It's a
wax.
fair question,
So
Bob.
your car's
City of the
paint, it's
future.
multi-layered.
Wherever
You have
the
your
Jetsons
base metal,
live.
Yeah.
and then you have a primer, and then you have your base coat, and then finally you got your clear coat. And that clear
Ha, joke's on you. Red NA Miata has single stage paint.
Yeah, I didn't have any of those things.
But for the sake of this, he's not talking about the Miata. He's just talking about a car, hypothetically.
Look at how terribly researched was this.
I'll let it go.
is to help prepare the clear coat for wax. So your car's paint, it's multi-layered. You have your base metal, and then you have a primer, and then you have your base coat, and finally you got your
Dan,
clear
those
coat.
are fighting
and that
words.
clear coat, it's there to protect the paint from the sun and ultraviolet rays. And it makes the
Also, another interesting bit. See that little side marker there? That means that this image must be from a Euro market MX-5. US ones did not have that side marker. Weird fun fact.
That's
Although the
not just
steering
an
wheel that's
anniversary
obscured,
emblem marker.
unless it's an emblem, but see how all the lights are white?
Oh yeah.
Except for the tail light and that side marker. Well, the side marker's red in real life too. But rather than going yellow, they went white. I'm just saying they had side marker lights on or reflectors anyway, on the Euro ones, but only on non-US ones.
the color of your
Just a
base coat look
weird
way
graphic
deeper and
choice.
more rich. And when
Oh,
it's
Bonnie,
always
don't go
when
down that
you
rabbit
get any
hole.
scratches,
Save
the thicker
yourself.
clear coat can be buffed out without damaging the paint. So the polisher in this Tri-Foam, in theory, is doing exactly that, smoothing out the surface of
Traffic film is something pedantic people call a dirty car. We call it a dirty car, but other people say, that car has traffic film and thus it needs a very particular type of clean. No, it's a dirty car.
And that makes Levi angry.
It makes Levi irrationally angry. It makes me just annoyed. It makes Anthony roll his eyes into the back of his head. Like all of us just go, ugh.
Like that fairly
Okay, but what's
reliable
with the
fun
colors?
fact.
Okay, that's all I want to
Yeah.
know. Are the yellows and blues and
Go
reds? Are
team.
they
Go team.
different chemicals? Are they doing different things? Are they? Are they, Jer? No, they are not. Okay, so it seems like I may have been a little bit wrong. When I first started doing research for this episode, a lot of sources told me that the 3 colors of the foam were the exact same ingredients, same chemical makeup, they were just dyed differently. But when I went to the car
That's why
wash
it
that we
seemed
did our
mostly.
experiment at, I noticed that there were 3 individual jugs over there that had different labels on them. So I went online and I did a little research and pulled up the MSDS. That's the Material Safety Data Sheet for each of those 3 chemicals. And here's what we found out. The red portion of the foam is the wax portion, and it has detergents in there as well as wax, of course. The blue is another type of shampoo. It's called high foam shampoo, and it has 2-buoxyethanol, sodium alkyl sulfonate, and coconut diethylamide, and those are used as a foaming and emulsifying agent. Now the yellow is an alkaline shampoo, and what makes it alkaline is sodium hydroxide or caustic soda. Now it will burn you if you just touch it, which is why you should never be a dummy like me and get inside a car wash. So you might be asking yourself, Jer, well, each color obviously is a different formulation, but they all have some form of detergent or surfactant in it. I'd be like, yeah, that's right. Yeah. But that's because there are a ton of different types of dirt and oil, and each one.
And that's the point is, both people are right when you get the annoying people who are like, they're all the same, and then you get the other people who are like, actually they're different. It's like, well, it's kind of both. Yeah. It's the same type of thing, but within that type, that category, that genre, there are many different flavors, and they all have particular reasons why they exist.
Yeah.
Yoshi, this is already more than I expected out of a Donut Media video. I know, Yoshi, same. I'm honestly surprised at what I'm getting out of this. And kudos to Jeremiah here. He's doing a good job explaining it.
Now, did he leave Donut, like, kind of, is he gone from Donut?
No, I think he's still there. The first Science Garage guy left, like, early on. Right. Yes, but that's because he actually got a job on, like, True TV or something.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, good for him. But
I liked the Science Garage guy, and I like this guy, too.
Yeah, no, I find Jeremiah is actually usually pretty good and stuff. So, yeah, no, the first guy, though, was great for, like, the really, nerdy, sciencey stuff. He was really good, and that was the first time I saw their videos on detailing was a coding video that he did. So that was interesting.
So he left or whatever, and those videos stopped coming out, and that's kind of around. It was way back then that I stopped watching media stuff. Unfortunately,
and you can see I unsubscribed when they started doing endlesswish.com videos. I was just like, okay, we get it, but I feel like they got bought out by some like big company that basically is just squeezing them for whatever creativity the poor people have left. And then there must be something keeping them from leaving. I'm guessing it has to do with contracts or something, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of them are actually quite capable and talented individuals who could definitely do their own thing or gather together on another channel and try and start something new and be successful at it.
Probably.
So, we'll see how it goes for them. Not gonna lie, I've wondered if it's one of those couples arguments y'all just agreed to disagree with Saint Yarna on. No, Saint Yarna.
Saint Yarna.
That's a new one. I found those ingredients listed on Happy Meal. What does that mean for my car? Oh boy, Bonnie, you're in trouble.
Uh-oh.
So, no, like in the case, Dan, of the Force description, if I'm not mistaken, the Force description was pulled directly from what Force said on the UK website, but
probably copy
certain products are like a copy-paste thing, or sometimes Anthony will go in and do a rewrite for what makes sense for our audience on stuff. But it's definitely a case-by-case basis, and he doesn't always get to everything because he doesn't always know when stuff needs attention. So if there's something that's weird about it, let him know. I'm sure he'd be happy to take a look.
Yeah.
What else? A lot less borderline copyright infringement too. Yep, it's copy pasta. Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, continuing. I've been impressed thus far, though.
Same.
The most Donut Media-y bit are just like the little non sequiturs and the whole I put on a parka and went in the freaking car wash.
One of those chemicals is specific for a type of dirt. Now, in my experience, polish needs some sort of physical pressure to be applied. At the heart of it, polish is just really fine sandpaper. It has a small amount of grit in it that roughens up the surface. Now, we're at a touchless car wash, so how can you polish it without touching? So today, we're gonna do a little test. Got my catfish here, and I have the hood taped off. One side, we're gonna get the pricey wash. Next, we're gonna get the basic wash. And I have a portable microscope here, so along the way, I'm gonna use it to better analyze the paint and see if there's a difference. We're back at the office. Got my portable microscope here. So I'm going to take a look at each section under this microscope and determine if there are any visible differences that we could tell. So right off the bat, just using my eyeballs, there's no difference. Okay? They look exactly the same. But you know what? This is a very expensive piece of scientific equipment.
I'm gonna guess that it functions more or less like a USB webcam, but with specific lenses on it to make it function.
When he specifically said that it was expensive, I bet it's not.
Probably something.
That was probably the point of that joke.
You know what? I am gonna go on a tangent here for a moment. I'm gonna look up. Let's look up a USB
portable
microscope.
Should you look for it on wish.com is the question.
Oh, that's a good point. We should look at wish.com.
I mean, that looks like basically it. Oh, 100.
But these have tables.
There's a lot of variants here. Yeah.
Now looking at images shopping. What do we find? So his is like a little handheld deal. So it's not on a stand. So it's not like it has a
$16.79 Walmart.
There's no petri dish here. Yeah. It's like I mean that's not gonna.
And that looks basically like the one he has.
It kind of does though. Yeah. So,
there you go. As cheap
I think that's giving us a
$16
general idea. Yeah. And then a similar looking one also goes for $143 at Brooklyn Gallery. Okay.
Yep.
Actually, it kind of looks like this one. But without the stand.
It's got the same plastic end as these other ones, though.
Yeah. See that? Look at that.
And like a scrolly dial. It looks very. It
does look like.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, I was curious. That's what happens. That's what this is for.
Maybe in the video description we can find that.
Oh yeah, I would laugh. He's got a link to it. Oh my God, do they?
There's Milwaukee tools.
A lot of Milwaukee tools
in there. What on earth is all this?
That's weird.
That was very weird.
Probably some brand deal. All right.
So I'm on the expensive side right now, and it's better than before, but there's still a lot of dirt here. So let's go over to the cheap side.
Yeah.
And look at that.
But it functions like webcam, like the autofocus.
Looks identical. Bummer, expensive car wash. It just took more of my money. Running your car through an automated car wash, at the heart of it, is simply convenient. Sometimes you just need a quick wash. But if I'm being honest, I never actually
pay more on mine because when I pay more at the particular one I go through, it adds to the drive time.
A couple of your buddies to wash your car down.
That's why I do that. So that part of that's the most important part. I don't want to be rolling around with
Instagram at Jeremiah Burton. Follow us on Donut at Donut Media. But until next week.
That was surprisingly educational.
Kudos. I feel like they actually, tried. Now, here I've got a video from Ethan. Welcome, Ethan. Glad to see you here. Thanks for joining the stream. We're talking about detailing stuff here. So I didn't pick this one necessarily because it's Jimbo, an auto detailing podcast. I picked it because of the title. I'm just curious to see what he says.
Yes.
So I want to hear what the answers are again. Yeah. Great pause again. This is literally how the video starts, Dan.
Yeah. Opening.
Dan made fun of my ability to pause on unflattering frames in videos. Like I have this as a secret superpower, I think.
I really need your help, or really want your help more than anything. If you watch this channel for any length of time, of course, we've done torture test.
Ethan, go ahead. What question you got?
Run it.
I'll keep the video playing until I see your question.
We've done how-to videos. We've done my top 3 detail sprays, ceramic sprays, car wash soaps. We've done a bunch of different style videos. And I just wanted to introduce another style of video that we're going to bring to this channel, but really wanted to throw it out to you guys, the subscribers, to get your help in seeing what type of video within this series that you would like to see. So one thing that I think would be really fun, and no one's really done it for the detailing industry at least, but that is an overrated and underrated. And part of the torture test videos and all the videos that I've done in the past that I plan on doing more of anyway, have really been based around the premise of finding kind of the best product, the best bang for your buck. And so as we continue into this over-under series...
This whole video isn't just a plea, is it? Like, you're going to compare some stuff.
That's what this is. No, yeah, this is him asking if people want to see...
Well, this is from June of last year. I would assume he'd done something with that by now, but... Sorry, Jimbo, moving on then.
Dude, we got clickbaited.
Okay, so... You are a detailing business owner.
Correct.
So you would know if you heard things that made sense from a detailing business owner's perspective. Granted, each one's experience could be different.
Yeah.
Some people have shops, some people are mobile, Some people just do, quick car wash kind of thing. Other people touch interiors exclusively. Like I got the mommy minivan thing knocked out.
Yeah.
That's my niche. And then there's other people who are like, I'll take whatever you throw at me, and there's that too. But
so I'll say,
Yeah.
the premise of this video, right, is he's saying there's a difference between being a detailer and a detailing business owner.
And I imagine a lot of this is going to have to do with financial savvy.
For sure. And because and I'll say kind of like as maybe a pre-reaction.
Yeah.
is
Before
that-
he says anything, what do you got?
At least in the way I do my detail shop situation, there is not a big difference for me, other than maybe the ability to like be a sales guy at the same time.
Because you are an owner-operator.
Owner-operator.
I mean, last I checked, you didn't have employees running
No
around,
employees,
but okay.
no. So I'm interested to see what he says is the big difference, because
And you
for
tell me if
there
it's
is
accurate.
and I can maybe I'll say like, oh, I guess he's right. I didn't think of it like that. So.
But in my experience, I haven't watched a lot of Detail Groove in recent years, but I remember, at least when I watched him early on and stuff, when I was kind of doing my research, figuring out the YouTube landscape of detailing, he would come out frequently, and he always seemed like a pretty down-to-earth, like, reasonable guy.
Cool.
Had, good takes, but he kind of built up over a long period of time. He's sitting at 158,000 subscribers, so it seems like people have found him.
Okay, yeah.
But good for him. But I was going to say, he never seems like he gets roped into unnecessary drama, BS, that kind of stuff. He seems like somebody who just focuses on doing his own thing, and he does kind of tackle a lot of the business stuff that I've seen. So anyway, before we start that, though, let's take a look at Ethan Bland's question here.
Yeah, I read that.
I've had my Twistresses for a little over a year now, and they're starting to leave noticeable lint on my car. Is there something that is savable, or am I going to have to buy some new towels? I mean, you can weigh in on this if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I would, and Levi's talked about this several times on the podcast. I mean, unfortunately, really the only way to do it, right, is to let's take all your drying towels, split them into 2 piles, wash one, wash and dry one batch, and see if those towels lint, wash and dry the other batch, see if those towels lint. If you magically have one of those laundry loads that, hey, okay, all of a sudden these seem clean, a little bit of lint was in the screen, but now I'm drying and I don't notice it anymore.
Yeah.
You may have even just a single bad egg towel that has begun to lint for whatever reason.
Honestly, it's usually the case where it's like 1 or 2 that are a problem, and it's not all of them. And it's rarely
washing them all
of them.
together. You're just mixing the lint around.
Yeah.
And it's spreading to all of them, and it's coming
So
off
it's
of this
impossible
towel,
to tell.
even though that towel is not linting. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could literally wash your towel, especially something like a big drying towel. I mean,
Yeah.
a little inconvenient and kind of maybe not so economical, but
Sure.
you could wash one towel at a time, wash
So-
and dry, and go use it and see if it lints and know if that towel is a problem or not.
And that was going to be my first question to you, Ethan, was, is that,
Is it all of them?
how many Twistresses are we talking about here? If it's, 2 or 3, that should be fairly easy to isolate the problem child in that mix.
Yeah.
And if it's more than one, just keep isolating until you find out which one is
Yeah.
the right one, or multiple. But it's rarely all of them, and it can kind of be deceiving too if they've been washed together a bunch of times, which I suspect they usually would be because they're all drying towels, you treat them the same. Not a super big deal because I have a liquidator coming in tomorrow, but I love these Twistresses.
So,
I don't blame you.
So keep
They're
that
great towels.
keep the liquidator quarantined.
Until
from the
you
rest.
know.
Right. Don't just go
which-
throw it in with the rest
yeah.
of them, because then you might just wrap it up in the same drama, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is towel care, which hopefully Ethan knows, but probably the biggest thing is going to be don't dry the towels on really as much any heat that you can possibly do. My dryer has a very low option, and those little infrared heat gun things.
Yeah.
Since we know that microfiber typically has a melting point of around 140 degrees, I have ran that very low heater option. This is how nerdy I have gotten on my dryer. My wife maybe doesn't know that I did this.
Oh, now she's finding out.
She's finding out now, probably, unless the kids are distracting her. But I have
Honey,
ran
you need to go outside.
I have ran the dryer on that very low setting and then popped the door open and shot the little heat gun in there, and
okay.
it's not over 140, even at the vent where the heat's coming out.
And
of
if
that.
it's not there, then it's definitely not.
So that's
the
what I
rest
dry
of the
my
space.
towels on. Yeah. So
Okay.
But yeah,
No, that's good.
low heat.
And yeah, the biggest thing
Wait,
to
what?
listen
I'm totally
there.
listening. Oh no, busted.
So yeah, no, the thing here is a lot of it comes down to heat is almost always the enemy.
Yeah.
Specifically concentrated heat. So yeah, a dryer, it's a good way to dry towels, assuming you understand the parameters that your dryer works with. If it gets too hot, it may not be the best environment. Hang drying may be better for you. And if you feel like, oh, but my towels are so much better when I put them in the machine because they're fluffier, they're lighter.
Yeah.
The very simple solution to that is hang dry, unless you're pressed for time. Hang dry them, and then just give them a few good shakes from every direction.
Yeah.
So like grab one side, shake it, grab the other side, shake it, and just work all the way around. They're soft again.
Yeah.
Assuming
Shakes
they're
those
dry.
fibers up.
Yeah, it works. Okay, cannot wait for you to get a washer dryer in the shop.
That'll be nice.
Well, one thing to look forward to, I guess.
Yes.
So, Ethan, I hope that helps. But yes, until you know for sure, keep your liquidator separate. Liquidators in general aren't going to have much of an issue when it comes to lint, that kind of stuff. Just
Holding onto lint and stuff.
the makeup of the towel is such that, yeah, they'll hold on to stuff, but not in the same way that other types of microfiber towels will. They're really meant to just draw that water, but they're not grabbing like dust particulates and lint type stuff quite so easily. It should be fairly simple to be able to get stuff out, but you got to be careful if you try combing it because those little loops are easy to catch.
Yeah.
And then you're damaging your towel.
Watch
for no
using
reason.
it around pointy emblems or
Yeah,
the
honestly,
wiper blade arms,
yeah,
things like that.
Once you use the liquidator on almost any vehicle, you're quickly going to be like, okay, I love my twisters, and I'm somebody who like loves the twisters, but the liquidator is such a good towel for such a it's a bang for a buck thing too. I mean, it's really inexpensive, but it functions so well. You can do whole vehicles with it fairly easily. And yeah, no, as long as you keep it treated, you don't let sealant set in there, you're good. So if you're not familiar with rags to riches, I would suggest getting familiar with that pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you're using sealants with them.
Because he's lost a few twistress loops over the washer.
Yeah, so yeah, the loops can come out, but you know what? In a very simple case, you can snip them if they bother you.
Yeah.
And yeah, eventually they may end up slipping through or something, but in the grand scheme of things, they still work.
There's like $1 million on there. You can lose a couple.
Yeah, you can afford to lose a few. They're collateral damage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all right. But I hope that helps, Ethan. All right, let's hear what Detail Groove has to say.
In this video, we're going to talk about the difference of being just a detailer and then actually running a detailing business and how those two things are completely different. But first, let's take it back to past Saturday and let me take you through what we have going on that day. So for today on the schedule, we have 2 vehicles. It's a Saturday. So we have a full interior cleaning and an engine cleaning on an Altima.
Welcome, Ethan.
The range is gonna be it's 240 for the interior and then 80 for the engine. And then on this here Viper that we have behind us, is gonna.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't actually finish the whole thought of how to fix this problem.
No.
Sorry,
But
very
I mean,
quickly.
I feel like we at least gave him something to work with
Yes.
before he ends up.
Yeah. No, but the point of the whole splitting them into 2 piles, right, is if you find only that one of those batches lints, you keep taking those towels into smaller and smaller piles until you find the bad ones. Sorry. Anyway.
That's fine. Yeah. He says he's going to go quickly finish some homework, and he'll be back in a few. No worries, Ethan. I have zero doubt that we will still be here talking over videos. I was going to point out, I actually really like his shirt. That's a good tagline.
Progress over perfection.
Yeah. That's a good attitude.
Not bad, yeah.
Because a lot of people get a little too lost in the, it has to be perfect.
Chasing perfection just causes problems.
That's where, I appreciate, Levi's sage words about that stuff too, where you just, at a certain point, you're wasting your time for most customers. If you get that one insane person who thinks they want perfection, very rarely do they actually want perfection.
Yeah.
They just want to not see it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bonnie, exactly. Perfect is the enemy of the good. And a lot of good will do you a lot of good. So, okay, moving on.
Receive a wash and wax, an engine cleaning, and a headlight restoration.
I'm not sure.
And then total is going to be like 380.
Yeah.
So just 2 cars for this Saturday. Hopefully we'll be done like around.
Can you tell from there? It's got a green header.
So you can customize some of the colors on your Able.
But the layout look like...
It might be, and it might be a portion of the app too that I use my Able, I think, differently than
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On like 3 o'clock. And the way we keep track of our schedule is using Jobber. We've been using it for 3+ years now, and I am a Jobber ambassador. So if you want to get a 14-day free trial plus 20% off your first 6 months, you can check the description box down below and sign up through my link. Again, we use it to schedule our customers, keep track of employee hours, and keep track of all our customers' information. So Lex here is now starting on the first headlight.
Gen 2 Viper, very nice.
Yeah, that would.
Like I said, we're doing a headlight restoration, a engine cleaning, a wash and wax, and the customer actually added a mini.
On the upside, though, you think about it, when you lift the hood, the headlight is completely exposed around all edges. So if you work from the side, you can get everything.
That's nice.
You're not fighting against the pain.
Headlight restoration.
I use a machine to do
wide
it,
open.
though, not by hand.
Well, if you're doing the machine underneath, though, you probably wouldn't clip it. If you're using a smaller machine, like a 3-inch or something.
Pixie,
Yeah, Pixie should be able to do that, I would think. At least in my experience, having done it on a GTS, it's the same hood.
Yeah.
A engine cleaning, a wash and wax, and the customer actually added a mini interior detail once he left. So in total, I think the vehicle was $460 or somewhere around there. Now the headlights, although they're very simple as far as the design, they were a bit odd condition and we had a bit of trouble. So there was still quite a bit of chips and scratches in there that we couldn't recover, but we did restore a lot of the clarity back into the headlights. Now with the mini interior detail, that one's very straightforward. We're using the air gun to blow everything out. We're gonna vacuum it and literally just wipe down the interior. There's no thorough agitation with this service.
He was able to fit a polisher in there. Looked like pretty easily. Grio's 3-inch machine, which isn't the smallest. So.
Yeah.
So the headlights are done. The mini interior was done. Well, he added it last second before he left.
Right.
That's done. Now we're working on the engine bay. It's always a bit cumbersome to work.
In this case, it is a Viper GTS because it's a hardtop coupe. There you go, with the double bubble and everything.
Work with engine like this just because you can't really get around comfortably. You kind of have to kind of contour your body to the hood. But that's okay. We're gonna knock it out, and then all that's left after that would be the wash and wax.
Still one of my favorite car shapes ever, though. I'm like not a Dodge guy or anything, but I just love those Viper GTS coupes. The shape is just cool.
Poor guy trying to clean that wheel and is getting foam cannoned.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I want to touch
didn't
on.
have a parka.
To where you start your detailing business because you enjoy detailing. It's a passion of yours, right? But what you do as a detailer, as a technician, is completely different than what you can do when you're doing this as a business. Meaning, even with this Viper, that it has swirls in the paintwork, and it'll look so much better if we were to correct them, right? So we can really bring out that blue, that gloss, that shine.
Sure.
Or with the interior, the leather seats needed cleaning, the door panel needed cleaning, but because the customer is not paying for that service, because they don't care for it, they don't want it, whatever the reason, you as the detailer cannot pass that line of saying, well, it'd be really fun, it'd be therapeutic, it'd be, satisfying to do that, although it would be. You as a business owner trying to make money from this, you have to draw that line and say, well, it would look really good, it really needs it, but...
Well, because you always feel that need, you want to impress your customer too. And you're like, the best thing you can do is just see if you can convince maybe an upsell situation or something. Right. That allows you the opportunity to at least feel like you try, but it is a tough thing to do and not limited to you. I see it happen to lots of guys who do this stuff. Is they're just like, I really want to, it looks, there's so much potential here. And it's like, it's at the end of the day, it's not your car. You ultimately can't really be the one to decide how it all ends up. However, the best thing you can do is just take a little time. If you think your people skills are good, try and convince the customer why it's a good idea in a way that doesn't make them feel like you're just trying to make an extra buck. If you come across as passionate, like, I know that there is a diamond under this. Right. If I can just get there, then, it's a matter of you being able to convince them. And if they're the kind of person who's willing to take you up on that.
What I try hard to do, and I still don't do a great job at, is I try and not do something extra of my own generosity.
You could do like a little freebie. Sometimes
I don't try
little
and
things.
do. Yeah, and what? I try not to do anything extra that I don't at least ask them first to try and, like you said, upsell them into it. And if they say no and whatever, and that's fine. Maybe sometimes I still do a tiny version of that thing because the potential there is so great, and I know
mild headlight correction.
Right, I've done that before, where it's like I had the polisher out because they did pay me to polish out a scratch, and it took me 3 minutes to buzz the headlights super quick, and it just cut down on that glare that was forming on the surface enough that they're like, oh wow, you hit the headlights too. It literally took me 3 minutes, and could I maybe have sold them, or maybe I should have tried to upsell them, or maybe I did and they said no on a full headlight restoration? Yes and no one.
But you didn't catch on the mic there. Remember what I said?
Oh really?
Yeah. Project.
So it's hard. Again, sometimes I'm giving away tiny little freebies, and sometimes like we polished a car. In fact, I put Bonnie on a polisher just about a week ago on a first gen red Tacoma.
Okay.
And I didn't actually ask that customer if he wanted anything like that first, and he never would have said yes. This is like his farm truck beater machine.
So it's really not something where he was going to be, but at the same time, it also meant he wasn't going to be overly concerned if the paint looked markedly worse.
It literally had such,
it couldn't be a problem.
It had such bad rock chip like rash on the front bumper at the bottom from long highway drives that he commutes to work in it on for so many years that it looked. The beads were so tight.
It peppered.
On the rock, it was peppered, exactly. It looked intentional. It was so bad, right?
Oh, wow.
But, so we threw the polisher on it. We went around the whole truck, and probably, Bonnie did half of it in 20 or 30 minutes, and she was getting some experience with a polisher. And it looked amazing. We used an all-in-one. We cheated.
You said it was
simple.
red?
It was red.
Okay, see, red turns out, and it was a first-gen Tacoma?
Red first-gen Tacoma.
Was it single stage or clear coat?
I don't think it was single. Because we didn't notice any red.
Okay, so there was no transfer.
Pad.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, and really, what we were using and stuff, there probably wasn't much correction happening anyway. It was mostly the
what all-in-one were you using?
We were using the Koch Chemie. Is it P6?
I'll be honest. When it comes to the Koch stuff on those ones, I do get them a little mixed
P6
up.
Or F6,
but it's the all-in-one.
All-in-one.
I know
orange band.
Orange one.
On
okay.
the bottle.
I know by the color. Yeah. The orange one. Because they had like the orange one with the little green strip, and then the orange one.
Yeah, and it's got the fillers in it, and the acrylics and all that stuff. It's a cheater polish.
Yeah, but at the same time, I found like, okay, this is like totally free and independent of any of our day jobs or anything.
Baby.
I'm just talking a little bit about this. The guys really love how that Koch one looks.
Yeah.
However, from a durability standpoint, as far as the filler aspect of it and stuff goes, it looks awesome, but. Compared to something like Uno Protect. Uno Protect is also an all-in-one and also does some filling, but it seems to hold up a lot better to the abuses that come with normal wear and tear on a car after the fact. Whereas this Koch one looks great until somebody starts, putting it through stuff.
Later,
and it lasts longer than other all-in-ones.
Yeah.
But Uno Protect is like on another level, and Uno Protect corrects.
Yeah.
So
and the customer showed up at the end of the day. The truck looked amazing. It was wildly beyond what he expected. He walked in the shop.
It kind of got him to think about it. At least
he was just like, "Holy smokes, it hasn't looked this good in years." And I'm like, "Hey, just so you know, we threw a polisher on it really quick as kind of like an extra thank you to you. We saw the potential there." And we knew it would have a good pop. And I told him right away, I'm like, I used a cheater polish it was an all-in-one product. It will not look like this for forever. Like maybe we got a tiny bit of correction out of it.
But it was worth at least letting you see it one time.
Yeah, and he walked around and he's like, I had no idea it could look this good, blah, blah, blah.
And that's the response you're looking for, because when you unlock that little part in someone's brain where they're like, wait, this is possible, suddenly they're not so against something like that happening in the future.
Yep.
Maybe. It doesn't mean it will happen, but it means at least the barriers are slightly down.
Yeah. And like Hung Rhino, yes, my shop is in California. It's in Tehachapi, California, to be exact, to be specific. But
P6 can cut, yeah.
So hopefully it looks even 20 or 30% better than it did, before he brought it in. And he'll at least know, like, hey, if I bring it back to that guy, it could look shiny again. And if he for some reason wanted me to work on his old beat up truck, we would, you know.
And if you're using a cheater polish, you know, an all-in-one with a bunch of fillers and stuff in it, that's fine. If he decides he likes that, you can show him like this costs less than doing like a full-on paint correction or something. This is a quicker. I could buzz it and we can get it done fairly fast. We could
do a
but
20
it'll look
minute
that
one
great.
step. Yeah.
If it makes you feel good, then maybe it's worth the extra. I don't know, $200-300, something like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can you imagine if you make a killing, a wash and a polish like that? That's good money as a business owner. He's gonna be super happy again. I mean, I felt a little bad at the end because he said, he's like, oh, I'm gonna kind of even actually feel bad to take it out on the trails now. I'm like, no, I'm like, don't do that.
Treat it the way you always treat it. Just like, know this is hiding under there the next time you feel like it's time to detail it.
Well, and part of the reason I was happy to do this for this customer too was I realized after he called me and booked and brought the vehicle in and everything, that he had been on my waiting list of the downtime I was at between shops and moving and everything. And I hadn't gotten all the way down to his name yet to call him back. So he called me before I had called him back intentionally to schedule him. And I told him that. I was like, and you know, this was kind of a part of a thank you for waiting and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And he was very happy. I got a 5-star review out of it. So, hey, that's always good.
Well, isn't that worth it?
Yes, that was worth it.
All right, so continuing on. It's a fair point to bring up, though. He's absolutely not wrong about that.
No, absolutely. And, you know, of course, agreed. And especially, like, he's got like 4 or 5 guys running around in that car.
Yeah.
Like, if he's all of a sudden having them give stuff away for free, not only is he losing money, but they're potentially going to be more quickly out of a job because he runs out of money to pay them at some point.
Yeah. Well, and it's the efficiency consideration where, okay, if I'm going to do this freebie, I got to be very efficient in my choices of what I offer. Something that's not going to cost me a lot of product or a lot of time, but delivers a big result. So you're trying to find that balance of like, okay, what is the bang for buck option here that's going to at least make it pop so much in someone's mind, and then I can explain why it does that. I can tell them it was a little extra thing. I don't normally do this, but I saw the potential and it didn't take me much time, so I just figured I'd throw it there. Maybe don't mention that it didn't take me much time part.
Right.
But
spent all day on it.
Yeah, you give them the impression that it was like, oh wow, if you ever wanted to look like that again, here's what that costs.
Yep.
Just let the option simmer in their mind.
Yeah.
The customer only wants whatever service that they're getting, and you have to go that route. So you being a detailer versus running a detailing business are completely different. You have to be able to have the discipline to separate yourself and say, well, it'd be nice, it'd be cool, I really want to do that, but the customer is only paying for this. This is the level of expectations, and that is what you're going to deliver.
Ultima. Oh.
Wow.
No. Ultima, the funny thing to me is always, it never has anything to do with the car itself. It's always whoever's driving the Ultima.
Yes.
There's always a story there, no matter what. Whatever Ultima you see on the road, I can virtually guarantee that car has seen some shit.
Yeah.
But this engine was actually very, very, very dirty.
Almost
I didn't get into it before
fail.
because I was just pressing the camera and getting to work. But literally the entire engine bay was covered.
I think it's a combination of that with the dealers, and like, it's not, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, there's no dig against you. Being poor is not a moral failing, none of that stuff. But I think it just tends to attract an audience of people who are just like, I need a newer car with some features, but I don't have a great credit score, and I just need something that does what I need it to and maybe has some comforts along the way, but, you know, I need space. So the Ultima offers you a larger, you know, sedan with some basic features for pretty cheap, and most of the dealerships, honestly, aren't being too discriminatory in terms of, like, you know, who's able to get financing. So it ends up being a case where that happens.
On the lot. Let's sell them. Yeah.
And it's just churning them out. But it's like it doesn't happen so much with other cars, even though there are plenty of Hondas and plenty of Toyotas out there that are in a similar deal. But something about the Nissan Altima, not even the Maxima, it's the Altima specifically, just there's a certain audience of people from all walks of life who find themselves behind the wheel of an Altima, and then that Altima just suffers for the rest of its life.
Yeah.
Just something happens in people. The Altima down the street from me is owned by a high school grad. Okay, Dan says. The repair job has paint that wasn't cut before it was clear. Oh, God. Ethan says he's back. Welcome back, Ethan. And Rhino says the Altima meme is strong in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I might step out just for a minute.
Oh, no, you're okay. Yeah.
I'm like coughing for a
No. Go ahead. Get your coughs out.
Apologies.
Well, in that case, I'll go ahead and tide you over for a few minutes here. But, oh, buddy, make sure you're okay out there. So, he's just got to work on that. But in the meantime, don't worry, Bonnie. He's okay. Yeah. So anyway, the Altima. I can't exactly articulate why it seems to be that car outside of the fact that it just seems like that meme is real. It's a case where the meme is absolutely real life. There's always going to be an exception to the rule. Of course, maybe you know somebody has an Altima and you're like, they're totally fine. They don't make bad decisions. They whatever, our argument there is. But man, most Altimas I see, it's always clear coat failure, even if they're like newer. It's, they have interesting choices in bumper stickers, some interesting choices and modifications. It's oftentimes everything happening at once. I've seen more poor choices for spoilers on a car with Altimas than I have with any other car. For some reason, the Altima just brings that out of people. Something like that. But I'll continue along here so that we're not sitting on the video too long because I don't want to force you guys into that. But if Tony comes back and he misses anything, we could talk about that too. Have you guys seen the Chemex videos? I like seeing all the big crazy stuff get cleaned up a bit. Chemex videos? Do they work on like commercial equipment like bulldozers and excavators and stuff? I'm not familiar with that.
Covered in either grease or oil, and it was pretty easy to clean though, because all I did was use a pressure washer to literally knock off, I want to say like 80% of that gunk off the engine bay, and then after that it was just spraying APC and cleaning it with a variety of brushes. So in total I think the engine bay took maybe like 20 minutes to clean, because it was dirty, but just literally rinsing it off safely and using common sense, it was a very easy engine cleaning.
I wouldn't be mad looking at that Viper all day.
So that's a hard truth you have to understand, comprehend, and come to terms with, where detailing, like the actual...
Okay, yeah, like cranes and tractors and 18-wheelers. Interesting. Huh, so just cleaning up like commercial heavy-duty equipment, that kind of stuff. I mean, those definitely get grimy. They're probably covered in like diesel slobber and all that other stuff. Working in dirty job sites, I imagine there's probably a lot to clean there.
Actual part that you enjoy.
If you have a recommendation of one you want to watch, definitely throw it in here and I might check it out. Maybe not today, but definitely something to pop in there in the future. And I'm not saying that word, Bonnie, or rather those two words, traffic film. You said traffic's film. That's funny. Ugh, it just means it's a dirty vehicle. That's all. I won't accept any other complaint. People will argue it's a specific thing, but damn it, it's just a dirty vehicle.
The satisfaction, the therapeutic part of things, right? What you enjoy to do when it comes to running your business is maybe like 20% of everything, right? Because although, yes, like once you get to the job and you're doing it, yes, you are detailing. But beforehand, you have to get customers to contact you. Well, how do you do that? Is that Instagram? Is that Instagram ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads? Is that search engine optimization? Is that Google ads, right? That's one thing, just figuring out the marketing side of things, right? That's a whole Pandora box that you have to open up, because how else is anyone...
No, that's a good one. I want to wait to talk about that when Tony gets back, because that is a relevant one. Everybody wants to know, how do I get customers? My business, I know I can do a good job. I just don't know how to reach other people. Tone source. Sorry guys, I have this cough that is still haunting me on occasion. Ethan, if your soap or rinseless isn't removing the traffic film, you need to switch soap or rinseless, says Ivan. Yeah, no, he's right. The signature Altima dent in the bumper. Hey, you know what? The Altima dent is really originally the Camry dent. Altimas just have, well, literally every other problem imaginable. But the Camry dent is a real thing. Anytime you see a Camry that's like at least 15 years old or older, whatever time period you're in, they almost always have the Camry dent. And that just goes down to like how Camry owners are, you know. Got the dent, Fine. Moving on. I got other things to worry about. This just gets me from place to place, and that's all. All right, I think he's coming back, but I definitely want to touch on this one because this is a good point to talk about.
Understand, comprehend, and come to terms with where detailing, like the actual part that you enjoy, the satisfaction, the therapeutic part of things, right? What you enjoy to do when it comes to running your business is maybe like 20% of everything.
I like how they're using like a mop pole to keep the hood up. I guess other stuff wasn't holding it up okay. Huh.
Everything, right? Because although, yes, like once you get to the job and you're doing it, yes, you are detailing. But beforehand, you have to get customers to contact you. Well, how do you do that? Is that Instagram? Is that Instagram ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads? Is that search engine optimization? Is that Google ads, right? That's one thing, just figuring out the marketing side of things, right?
I mean, it does have a signature Ultima dent in that sense that this one literally has a dent there, though. I wasn't even looking down. I just thought you're making the comment about, yeah, hypothetically, the Ultima's going to have a signature dent. And then I looked down. Oh, my God, you were right. You were just looking at it, and I hadn't even looked.
That's a whole Pandora box that you have to open up, because how else is anyone going to notice you, right? You think you're just going to start your business and people are going to come? No, you now have to jump into the world.
I mean, the way it's been done since before social media and all that stuff, the original social media was just people talking to each other, right? Word of mouth goes a long way. So Tony came back at the right time to talk about this. I'll let you hear him in his own words here.
Okay.
But basically, he's just getting to the point about how you promote yourself.
Detailing, like the actual part that you enjoy, the satisfaction, the therapeutic part of things, right? What you enjoy to do when it comes to running your business is maybe like 20% of everything, right? Because although, yes, like once you get to the job and you're doing it, yes, you are detailing. But beforehand, you have to get customers to contact you. Well, how do you do that? Is that Instagram? Is that Instagram ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads? Is that search engine optimization? Is that Google ads, right? That's one thing, just figuring out the marketing side of things, right? That's a whole Pandora box that you have to open up, because how else is anyone gonna notice you, right? You think you're just gonna start your business and people are gonna come? No, you now have...
I'm just now realizing he has like a whole gym back here.
Yeah,
it's
man.
like, where'd that come
wow.
from? Whoa, he's actually got like all the bars and equipment for that stuff. I mean, hey, when you're on your break or something and you're just between jobs,
It's kind of nice.
I mean, that's kind of cool, actually. Although I have to imagine, you know, sometimes you're just sore and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
have to jump into the world of marketing and business and understand, okay, how do I get complete strangers to know who I am, trust me, and to hand over their hard-earned money to me and make me their preferred choice as a detailer? Like, how do you solve that part? But then two is, okay, now it's customer service and the customer experience, right? Well, now you have to talk to the customer, set the proper expectations, make sure everyone's on the right page, make sure that, you know, you're pricing your service.
Is it just me, or is that top of that dash, is that a reflection, or is that like fried by the sun there already? Just at the top of the dash, kind of to the left of that upper sticker on the windshield, looks like there's some weird gouge or like lumpiness in the...
Yeah.
I don't know what
services properly, making sure that the
dirty.
It's moving with the car, so
yeah,
not a reflection.
Customer knows exactly what they're gonna get, and then you drive to the customer location, assuming that you're mobile, and then now it's talking to the customer person, recapping the details, making sure the expectations are set correctly, inspecting the vehicle.
Ethan, that is a great joy that all of us have in the detailing community. He says, I think my favorite part of detailing is bombarding friends with insane amounts of useless info.
Yep.
I mean, it's useless to them, but it's useful for you. And at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with you. So as long as it doesn't drive you crazy.
And making sure what you said you were going to do is you're capable of doing that on that vehicle once you're looking at it. And then at that point, you get to the actual detailing part. So many other steps have to take place before you get to being a detailer, right? You gotta, generate traffic and leads. That's being a marketer. You have to talk to the customer. That can be either sales or customer service. And then you become a detailer. And the detailer part is only but for a few hours, like compared to like the hours and hours of like learning how to market your business, learning how to talk to customers, talking to customers. So it's still just one tiny part. Now, that isn't to say it's not vital. Of course, you have to offer the best results that you can, you have to have great, actual detailing skills. But that's still only one part of this entire puzzle you have to figure out. Because then once you finish the detail, what do? Well, you call the customer back out, you talk to them, you walk them through the detail, you accept payment. Hey, look, and some customers aren't going to be satisfied. Some aren't going to be happy. Some are just going to be a bit more difficult to work with. And that's part of being in business. Like, you want to just be a detailer and detail cars, but unfortunately, that's not the case when it comes to actually running a detailing business. There's so many other things that have to be in place that you have to take care of in order to do that one thing that you want to do. I don't know. Is it fair? Is it not fair? That's what you get into when you're.
He's not wrong. Everything he said is absolutely
I think he's
true.
making a lot of good points. Yeah.
I haven't heard anything I disagree with. Really. I mean, yeah, that is the problem though. Is everybody who's into detailing decides, oh, I want to turn this into my business, but they're not business savvy. They're detail savvy, not business savvy. And then they realize, oh, the thing I like doing is only a very small percentage of the actual job.
Yeah.
I want to just be able to do the thing. And also, this is something I enjoyed before I made it a job. Now this is rough.
Yeah.
But in your position, you found a way to make it work for yourself, where there's a balance.
Yeah, and so I think probably where I found success is that I'm the only person in my very small town that does the kind of level and details to the extent that I do. Mm-hmm. So that's been helpful. There are other mobile detailer, more like car wash guys, and plenty of people are happy with them, and they charge prices that they're maybe happier paying. And I have
people need to understand there's a difference.
I have on numerous occasions told people flat out, like, and not even being shy about it.
No, this is not an
most
ego
expensive
thing.
guy in town, but I provide a different service than the other guys do. And so so that's so where I have found success.
But it's okay to be the most expensive guy.
Yeah,
if there are people there who are willing to pay it and understand they're getting a different service.
It's a different service, and I have found success in explaining that to them, and then really more than anything, getting word of mouth referrals as probably my main source. That, and honestly just people Googling auto detailer and me coming up at the top because I'm the closest person geographically to them.
Sure.
With a business page that's put into Google and reviews. So honestly, those two things not only have generated me the best customers that I have, the ones that have no problem paying the prices that I charge, want the services that I provide, and don't complain at the end and are happy. That's been the success in that. It would be probably a lot different story if I was trying to do what I do in some big city where there's already 50 other big, well-known detailers out there. How would you even tap into that market? It would probably be impossible. You would probably be paying for tons of Google ads and Facebook ads and Instagram ads.
It's discouraging if you don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah. And it's still, even with me, it got to the point, not too terribly long ago where, first of all, Facebook group recommendations of detailers never has generated me with the best.
Are you talking about groups that have detailers in them?
No, it's like local mom groups that say, where can I bring my minivan to get cleaned?
And see, I would think that would be a decent resource, at least for getting an idea of what the market is looking for.
Yeah.
But I agree. I don't think it would be the best for getting an actual solid lead that's going to materialize into an actual job.
Those leads are, unfortunately, and not to like try and stereotype, but they're soccer mom minivans that are filthy, and they want to pay $2 to have them cleaned out.
Yeah, it's like what you really need is to go down to the Coin Op car wash and vacuum it yourself if that's what you're looking for, because that's where that's going to end if that's the price you're willing to pay.
Well, and it even became like it would occasionally bother me when I would get tagged in one of those things, and I would go look at it, and sometimes I'd comment and be like,
"They're trying to help, right?
Reach out to me. Thank you for recommending me." But one or two or three people would sometimes recommend me, and 15 would recommend the mobile guy that charges $40 for a full detail.
Yeah. And sometimes the dubious full detail terminology that doesn't really mean anything.
Right. And so I would, that would occasionally, not like, I don't know.
It's okay if it bothers you.
It would just stress me out. Yeah. So I eventually turned off notifications of my business getting tagged in things.
Oh, okay.
Which I realize is probably a lost opportunity to go
in and reply in
those things, but they were never the best customers anyway.
Well, exactly. Remember, this is another somewhat controversial take, but I find this is often very true. You find when you sell something, a lot of times the people who make the smallest orders have the biggest mouths.
Yep.
And I mean that in my most polite way possible. There are people who will order just a small handful of things and then instantly turn on the customer is always right spiel, and it becomes incredibly taxing on your psyche.
Yeah.
Just dealing with people like that. Whereas there are other people who have no problem. They're very comfortable dropping a certain amount, not because they're loaded, but because they understand the value of what it is they're looking to have done, and they understand you're capable of doing it, and they don't make a fuss. They just make it happen. And if something's wrong, it's not a fuss to say, hey, you screwed this up, can you help fix this? Great, we'll work on it.
Sure.
But there's just a difference in the way that people handle their shit.
Yeah.
And that's one of those. So yeah, oftentimes I do find that people who always want the discount, the cheapest possible thing, are the most tedious to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
But then there are people who are cheap, who are happy to be cheap, and they buy it and they're great and they're fine. And good on you if you're one of those. Just understand, you don't stick out in the bad way like the people who are cheap, who are annoying.
Yeah.
So don't worry if you feel called out. It's probably not you.
Well, and he hasn't said it yet. Maybe he will. There's a little bit of video left here, but
yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, the best thing that I'd ever done, which people say to do and experienced detailers say to do constantly, and I probably still need to do more, was raise my prices.
Yeah.
Hashtag people... sorry, not sorry. Like, people call. I've had people call and gasp when I tell them what I think it's going to be to detail their car and say, for a car wash? I'm sorry, ma'am.
This is not a car wash.
I'm not
the
a
car wash is a place you would drive to and you'd be done in about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
This ain't that.
There's going to be 75 guys that wipe down and vacuum and wash your car in 3 seconds. That's not this.
Man.
So that's actually something I've been thinking about doing. I don't know. I think because I just think it would be fun to make it for myself and maybe for a personal YouTube channel,
sure.
Or my business Facebook page or something. Put a link to it on there. But I want to make a series of YouTube videos that is like, what is premium auto detailing?
Nice.
And so I've been thinking
stuff
about
you could host on your own webpage too.
Yeah.
Like it could be YouTube channel, your videos and stuff, but you could put them on your channel to help educate people who are like, what's this now? Oh, this is the guy. Let me see what the guy says.
When people go to the website and they see that I basically don't touch a car for less than $300, let's say.
And, if you're the guy who does that,
right below that is a nice embedded YouTube video that says, what is premium auto detailing? They're like, why? How do you get away with charging $300? And I explained to them that the towel that's touching their car did not touch a car previous to their car without being washed. Or it's brand new.
Here's the towel at a car wash. It costs about 24 cents.
Yeah.
Here's the towels I'm using on your car here. They cost about $5 a piece. Now, why am I doing that? Because I like setting your money on fire? No, it's because I value the finish of your car more than the car wash does, if we're being completely honest.
And I use this on your vehicle, and then it immediately gets washed before it touches another vehicle and inspected. And people just aren't going to get that unless I tell them. So
yeah. No, that's not something that people can just inherently know.
No.
They need to be educated. So, totally agree. I was going to read back through these comments because there were a few good ones. So we had... a
couple people named Oscar.
Yeah, so the one thing he does that I disagree with is headliner extraction. Other than that, Oscar is great. That's Oscar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Oscar is Detail Groove. I apologize, I'd forgotten his name, but yes, he's Oscar, and also Hung Rhino is Oscar, so we got that now.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I hadn't seen anything about headliner extraction, so that's news to me, but just knowing what I know from Anthony and Levi,
I wouldn't risk it.
I'm always paranoid about anything beyond the most gentle cleaners going on a headliner. Mm-hmm. That's why they talk about like a rinseless wash, like O&R or Absolute can do it. That's safe. Anything else, like, I'm just spraying a hardcore APC up here. If you know what your headliner is held up there with, you probably think twice before doing that. Especially if you're in an older car, too. the adhesives in there, they've had their time, and you might be the cause of a future saggy headliner.
Yep. And in a pinch, I've used something like a diluted carpet bomber.
Yeah, okay,
to tackle when like the customer's really concerned about the one stain on the headliner. And I always tell them, like, I can try, but do you understand that I may do damage to it, and I'm not just gonna,
I'm letting you know ahead of time, so you can be the determining voice that says, you're the verbal waiver. Yep. I'm allowing you to do this because I'm that irritated with this spot.
And they'll say, yes, that spot bothers me. So I've been known to do that and use a little bit of steam as well. But any more aggressive than that, you're asking for problems.
No, that's fine. Okay, so they had their little like, hey, wait, I read that twice. They're fine. Yeah. But then we've got, Ethan says, I hated myself when I was at $50 at detail. Only did maybe 2 or 3 at that price to get some experience. Yeah, when you're starting out and you have no reviews and no word of mouth and any of that stuff, that's when a lot of this advice doesn't necessarily have to come into play yet. You don't have to be the most expensive guy in town.
You're not there yet.
You're not there yet. You can work up to that.
And I do those too.
But also don't undervalue yourself. Don't put yourself in a position where you're making less than minimum wage to do, the job.
Backbreaking work.
Yeah, because it is hard work. Anybody who's ever done a detail on a car, like a thorough detail, understands this is not something that anybody is going to be willing to do.
Yep.
That's why they came to you and paid you to do it.
Yeah.
So understand what you're worth. But those first 2, knock them out, get your experience. I get it. But that's a good idea. I like the idea of a detailing website with some video links. I feel like it's easier to explain things over video. When it's a lot of info, most people don't want to read 3 paragraphs. My advice, do both.
Yep.
But find a way to make your paragraphs succinct enough that you're getting the most information out in the tidiest way possible. Sure. Don't give people a wall of text that they're going to look at and say, F that.
Yeah.
Because you do that, you just lost them already. The videos are helpful for getting them there. But in writing, some people, honestly, they can't hear. Maybe you get a deaf customer or something. They need to be able to see something in writing that gives them confidence. Okay, it's a very simple thing. Just try and write a succinct version of what it is you're saying in the other bit.
Yeah.
So that way you got all your bases covered. Also, the video, the words being said in the video don't show up in SEO like search results, but the written stuff on your website does.
Right.
So when it catalogs all of your pages on your website, you better have something that more or less matches what it is you're saying there so that you're getting the best of both worlds.
Right.
So I'm kind of obsessed with the SEO stuff, so it'll always be a factor to me. Headliner, spot cleaning, I go with Polestar at 15-1 on a scrub pad. General cleaning, always a rinseless towel. Okay, I mean, Polestar works there too. You're just trying to avoid being too aggressive, but I think that's fine.
15-1 sounds
15-1 is safe.
Mild,
yeah, that's mild.
Running a business. So that's gonna wrap up this video.
Okay.
Hopefully you
All
learned
that,
or
we made
thing
it to
or
the
two.
end.
You can check the description box down below for the 14-day.
He said he was clear, concise.
My impression was always he's a
dramatic.
reasonable guy. Yeah.
And he made a lot of good points, and I guess it's as I'm thinking through it, when like they said at the beginning, like I basically just detail cars. Not too much changed for me, but he's right. I have had to learn about and consider.
You got responsibility
marketing and advertisements, and I made a website and all these other things. So yeah, he's definitely right. There is a big difference.
Good job, Oscar.
There you go.
All right, closing that one down. I think we'll probably do maybe one more video, and then we'll get some dinner, okay? I don't want to keep you waiting forever. I know you're probably hungry.
Nah, I'm not surviving.
You okay?
As long as I don't go into some crazy coughing fit again.
Okay, no coughing fits and no comas.
Yeah.
I think the one I'll save for last is that silly Toyota Hilux video.
All right.
But for now, I think now that we're kind of in the vibe of detailers and stuff, I saw this come up, and I thought it was an interesting premise. I haven't watched any of this guy's channel before, Hunter's Mobile Detailing. I've heard some people like it, some people don't, from like commenters before, but I haven't actually watched any of them yet, so I have no read on the guy or how he shoots video or any of that stuff yet.
Sure.
But I'm just curious because the title is How We Deal with Overly Talkative Detailing Customers.
I got a funny story about that. We'll get into it then, though.
So we'll let him start, and then you tell me your story once we're kind of in a point where we can pause.
All right.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes, sir.
So, conversation with the customer is important for our business, But have you ever had a customer that
5
talked
series.
too much?
Oh,
That just stood next to you,
sheesh.
talking to you.
Yes.
Buddy
How do you
says you
handle
need
that?
this
Yes.
video.
Yo, what are you doing, bro?
Sometimes we get the convenience of refrigerator. Hey, the last stop we just came
That's a
from,
lot of
we had an
drinks.
RV out there, right in the hills. Same thing. You open the refrigerator and say, help yourself. We came to the second one, help yourselves. This is rare.
Oh no, Bonnie, you had to
Oh,
rescue
well,
it.
you know.
Some of
Let me get one of those bottles right here, Wayne, and
I want the booze.
that into Fireball and all that. I'm good.
Got a fireball in the fridge. Oh
Yeah, Wayne,
no.
one thing I want to ask you is, how could you tell if a customer is cool, is chill? What could you do? How could you talk to them?
It's all in how you know how to read people. Me, as soon as I walk up, I pay attention to their expressions, how they carry themselves. If they're timid coming up, if they, what's up, man? Like, it's just all in their presentation
Not
when they
wrong.
approach you. So this guy here, as soon as he came up to us, what's up, guys? He's already talking to him. Refrigerator's open and available to you guys. Take your time, do your thing, and I'm gonna pay you guys $400.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat, the detail job is $265.
What?
Wow.
He told us he gonna pay us $400 right off the bat.
Okay.
How'd you get this customer?
Google.
Google,
Just
man.
called me random.
Damn,
That's
those
it.
reviews, man.
You never know when
And I
they're
just
gonna
got
come
another
in.
6
It's true.
cars, Rez.
For
6
tomorrow?
cars from a company tomorrow. We're gonna go to their company lot, and somebody sprayed some clear coat, and the overspray got on the cars. So I told them it's gonna be a range from 150 to 350. That's gonna be the range, but I still have to get out there to evaluate what's really going on and how long it's gonna take. And she was like, well, we want waxes and this and that. I'm like, hey, price is gonna vary. That's just my starting price. 150 to 350, that could exceed, but we gotta get to the vehicles. Bam, booked her, we out there. Google, y'all, stop slacking.
There you go, man. And, hey, what's some advice for a detailer out there who's a little bit too shy, man? Does that affect?
Are you shy as a detailer when you get a customer? Sounds like you're not. You're good at speaking up for yourself.
I think, yeah.
Or are you? I don't know.
You know, well, I would say most of the time no, but I think I think I tend to be be more of an empath. If the
Guilty.
person I'm
Yeah.
communicating with is kind of more shy and stuff, I can kind of struggle with that as well. If they're a little more talkative, I'm easily more talkative.
Do you attempt to match their energy?
I think I
a
probably
little
do.
bit?
Sometimes even unconsciously.
Meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not even thinking about it. You just kind of like, oh, they're here. I'm gonna dial it down.
Their
a little.
tone can definitely set that though, and it makes some interactions tough. And I'm sure I've definitely lost sales because I was more timid because maybe they sounded timid, and I matched that even on accident. But it's
I mean, you're detailing. You're not dating.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So, but I do a decent job, and it is definitely easier though to talk with and communicate with, and even sell to and detail for the more talkative person.
Okay.
But there is a limit. Definitely a limit.
Ethan, that's exactly me. Don't feel bad, man. That's just the way it is sometimes. Bonnie had to fake being a disgruntled customer over the phone.
So that's the story.
Before I continue, we're already like a third through this. So I feel like
literally
it's going
had
all right.
one old Corvette guy, New Balance,
classic.
All
right,
but actually like the older version of that guy.
Oh, the older
Yes.
version. So he was like that guy, but with a couple extra decades. on him.
He opened the door and then he like struggled to get out.
So it was
he just had his hip replaced, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But this guy like talked to me for so long that Bonnie literally called me on the phone and was like, "Hey, I'm mad about my detail, and I want," or she just was making stuff up, obviously. And I'm like, "Oh, hey, thanks for calling. How you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this customer call," and that finally chased the guy away.
So so what was the guy's deal exactly?
He showed up at the shop while I was working on another car because he called me, and he was just a random Google guy.
He showed up unannounced.
Well, I told him, and I tell this a lot to people. Because again, sometimes communicating what I do and why I charge what I charge, et cetera, is difficult. And so I will tell people, hey, I'm working in the shop all day tomorrow. If you want to swing by, I will look at your car and give you a more accurate quote.
Evaluation.
You can see my shop and kind of see what I do, and I'll explain a little bit.
You have a home shop, so you're not going to be anywhere else either, so you'll be around.
Yeah, so I'm a home shop. I'm at the shop all day.
Yeah.
So I will invite people over because I feel like it's an easy way to convert them into a customer. If they're on the fence, or at least explain what I do, and maybe they decide not to be.
Yeah.
But either way, it's sometimes just easier to communicate in person. And so I told this guy, yeah, I'm detailing right now. He was like, I'm out at breakfast. I want my car detailed. I'm like, when you're done with your breakfast, swing on by. This is my address. We'll look at your car, and I can talk with you about what you want to do.
Sure.
And it ended up him telling me, the story about his car, and his friend had a Corvette.
Wow, Corvette owner telling you all about the history of their car and how it's the rarest one of this one made on this day with this color combination.
Yes, and it was a 50th anniversary one.
Oh, God. So it was that burgundy color, which is nice to look at.
Oh, gosh, maybe it was on
the standard 50th anniversary color was burgundy.
This
like
one
a very metallic
This one's like a seafoam blue-green.
Oh, was it? Okay, is this a C4 or a C5? Off to the Google. Okay,
flip up
so
headlights.
let me show you C5 Corvette 50th anniversary, because that would have been about 2003. Yep. So see, this is the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
When I say burgundy, this is what I'm talking about.
Literally the only one that came up.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, when I say I'm a nerd about the cars, even if I don't necessarily care about the car, I probably know what I'm talking about. So, boom, here we go.
If you go...
Bonnie says it's an ugly Corvette.
It's an ugly Corvette.
Oh.
It is like the...
The C5 is one of those... Rhino, I know you're not one of those guys. I can already tell from all the other stuff you've said. He drives a Corvette too. But
yeah.
He's got a cool Corvette.
A picture of the car is on my Google business page, photos.
Okay.
If you wanted to pull it up.
Yeah, let's do a little free advertising for Tony.
You don't have to do that. Well,
okay.
There's one
Go
place.
ahead and type it in.
All right. T-Line Auto Detail.
Rhino, you're right. The old Corvette guy meme is funny.
That's a photo. So it's that gray silver color.
I'm going to laugh so hard if this guy talked it up being a 50th anniversary and it wasn't. I mean, it is a 50th anniversary and then it has the badge. So basically... It's a 50th anniversary in the sense that it was probably produced for the 2003 model year, in which case they're all 50th anniversary cars.
Oh.
Unless...
That's probably right.
I don't recall them coming in any other color with the specific... The anniversary edition, the 50th anniversary edition, to my knowledge, was only that color. You could buy a 2003 Corvette in other colors... But
that's probably exactly what happened.
I strongly feel that this man bought this Corvette used, and it's a 2003, and somebody found a 50th anniversary badge and put it on there, and that guy suddenly had new stories to tell.
Yes. Yeah, so I got to hear about how it was his friend's Corvette, and then he bought it from him, and blah, blah, blah.
Boy.
And Bonnie had to call me and fake being a customer to get me away from them and get me back to my detail. It was probably an hour.
Bonnie, you're a pro. Good save.
Yes, good save.
And that guy, did the guy leave like willingly, or was he kind of salty?
No, he was fine. And he eventually came back for a detail, and he was happy enough. And he came back another time, and his girlfriend kind of got involved and was super tightwad.
This guy's how old, and he has a girlfriend?
He was like 60s at least. Pushing 70, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of impressive, really.
That's fine. It's always possible. Maybe the wife passed away or something, or maybe he just never got married. He's a confirmed bachelor for life, driving his Vets and being happy about. I don't know.
Gotten a new hip and a Corvette. I'm ready to find a girlfriend.
Oh boy, you get out there, lover boy. Also, Rhino, yeah, thanks for backing me up on my theory. I feel like it's a pretty solid one. Fairly.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The business or not really, in your opinion?
If you're too shy, you don't need to be doing business. I'm sorry. That's just the truth.
No, there it is.
It's going to hurt you.
There you go.
But your work is really going to have to speak for you really, really loud. You're going to have to be extremely good for that to speak for you to be that quiet.
So LA.
Yes, sir.
How do you approach a brand new customer? Do you say what's up? Do you let them come to you? What do you do?
I come with the full energy. That's just the kind of person I am. But definitely when I do introduce myself, you go get that vibe if that person is talkative or they just want you to do what you got to do and get gone.
Oh, we're shooting a video. You can come out. You're good. You good?
You know?
I like how he also throws text in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Like, I promise we're not just randomly shooting at this guy's house for no reason. Like, we told him ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll always love that deer in headlights look like, oh shit,
I'm on
video.
That's what that was
right
for sure.
That guy looked like a Corvette owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you go know, you go get a vibe from them whether they're talkative or they just want you to do the job and be done, and then you just go according based off that because you never want to scare a customer away. So I go off their energy all the time.
You know what? The crazy thing about it is some people don't know how to read people. For instance, my brother, it'd be some people standing in the background like this, looking like they're about to rob them, or some girls be trying to hit on them during the detail, and my brother is just, he don't know how to read.
He'll just be like, mugged.
Hey. And he really won't know how to, he's not looking for it. So some people just don't have that. Not everybody has that. So it's just different people that are built for business, and there's other people that force it. You know, they want it, but they just don't have the attributes.
That's fair.
To run a business,
totally
to present themselves, to talk, they just don't have it all.
Now, there are still people who, even though forcing yourself to go outside your comfort zone and be that thing may be uncomfortable, there are people who are capable of overcoming that and embracing it and just doing the thing. It's like introverted people who do public speaking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There are people who can do that. It's not impossible, but you have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit of that comfort to do it. And if the end result is you get to do the thing you love and you get to do it every day and makes you happy, then all right, fine. Yeah. There are going to be days that suck. Even if you enjoy it, there will always be days that suck, but they don't all have to suck.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
So they have to be shaped and molded and be mentored pretty much.
Right.
Some people just naturally got it. So, hey.
Now, here's the thing.
Right.
How do you know when you're talking too much that's causing the job to take longer? Does that ever happen?
It does happen, but it's worth it because it's an investment. Your time is an investment. If I'm gonna be late to my next stop, I'll sacrifice that extra 30 minutes talking with them, text the client, call the client, just to let them know I'm gonna be late just because I want to be.
Now, he said the right thing there, giving the next person the heads up.
Yeah.
If it's gonna happen that way, being honest, being truthful, being forthright, that goes a long way with people. Most people are willing to work with you on that stuff. In this case, if it means the difference between having a happy customer at the current job that you're currently getting paid for versus chancing it on a future job that may or may not pan out. Like, I've got a thing here, but this customer is giving me the certain level of feedback. I may not get that 5 stars if I don't match this guy's energy, do this thing. It's a compromise, but I get it. I kind of agree with him on that.
Yeah.
Just like to a degree, you know, there's always going to be a cutoff.
There's going to be a cutoff point, and he may gain information in that experience where he's like,
for next time.
Okay, next time we're charging him double because I can't do that again.
Yeah.
Or, we're going to say no next time. Or, that guy was a great client. He left me a great review. He gave me a big tip. He's worth it. And when he calls, maybe I don't book a second job that day, or I gave myself an extra
I know
hour.
going in, I'm going to just make this the one.
You learn to work around it, right? So.
And yeah, very well, that could become the next star client.
Yeah.
Build a relationship. That relationship is going to turn into another relationship with the next person. So, hey, it's worth it to me.
Hey, kind of like this customer.
Right.
He has a fun. What does he have?
He has a charity.
A charity.
Where he gives back to the less fortunate. Pretty much bicycles, hats, clothing, a whole bunch of stuff. And we're out here talking. And he's giving us hats and coffee cups. We all got one. Drinks for the refrigerator. So he's a giver.
That's nice.
He loves people. And that conversation could lead into something else. I told him I want to know what's his foundation for giving. But I said, hey, let's save that for after we're done. So sometimes you can cut it short after talking a little bit. So you just got to know when to get in and get out, really.
Yeah.
Hey, Wayne.
Yes, sir?
So, conversation with the customer is important for a business, but have you ever had a customer that talked too much?
Who?
That just stood next to you, talking to you.
Yes.
How do you handle that?
Yes, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it's overbearing and there's no respectful way to let them know that, hey, I need to work. Sometimes you got to just deal with it and learn how to multitask, and eventually they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. They know it too. And they'll see you trying to work and like, yeah, and you turn the vacuum on, yeah, and they're like, yeah, so, yeah. And you cut it off and you're like, yeah, cut it back on. And eventually they get the point. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll let you get back to work to where you don't have to say it. So,
yeah,
I feel like your method is funny. Go ahead.
The old vacuum trick.
Yeah, I mean, I like his attitude. I think that's a fair way to do it. It's like,
Just start going back to work.
It just really gonna make sure that you know I'm busy right now.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was a shorty, but again, I'll give you a thumbs up. That's fine. I mean, yeah, it's one of those cases where you're like, clickbaity title. It's like, no, it's just being conversational.
I liked it.
But I actually like that. So, cool. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the last one of the day. How else could I end this but with a wackadoo video of, these crazy YouTubers just doing crazy stuff. It's Whistling Diesel. I don't even watch this guy's channel outside of just when I bring up one of his videos here on the stream because they're good content.
Sure.
There's something good to watch because inevitably you can't not react.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen in this video, but I know it's going to be crazy, whatever it is.
All right.
Anyway, let's just watch him do a Hilux durability test.
Well, what are we going to drive today?
I've already got a surprise for you.
Really?
I've got bulletproof vest on.
Yeah, this is Whistling Diesel.
It's exotic, and it's the pinnacle of human engineering.
A Lamborghini Aventador?
No, something way better. The 2018 Toyota.
Also, what the hell happened to that?
Oh, that makes more sense. I thought you were talking about the Lambo. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get you now. Okay, let's go.
Is the vest part of his character? Does he always have it on?
I see him in some of the videos, but I don't know if it's like a fully regular thing or if it's just occasional. Yeah, what the hell happened to it? It's like red clay.
Looked cool.
Yeah.
That's a jump. Just jumped it.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Are new Toyota Hiluxes just as durable as old Toyota Hiluxes? I don't know, but we're going to find out. They still make them. It's right in front of us. That's a Toyota Hilux. We're not in America. We're in the United Kingdom. We traveled for this bad boy because we couldn't get it legally because the United States of America has a grudge against other countries from like World War II or something where you can't import other foreign vehicles because they want to improve the economy and keep all the work inside the United States, and they didn't want people to have vehicles from other countries because they held something against them.
Is it just a Tacoma? Is it not
Basically,
Tacoma?
okay, so here's the part where people who aren't like super deep in the car lore stuff, the Hilux is different than the Tacoma.
Okay.
But it occupies the same space as the Tacoma does here in other countries.
Got it.
So like in Australia, the UK, all those other places, the Hilux is unchanged. Well, when it began, it was the same truck we got anywhere. Toyota was just, the Hilux was the pickup that you got.
Sure.
But the Toyota pickup we got in the 90s was essentially the Hilux with some different options. Diesel options were available overseas, but not here.
Okay.
And you had like a crew cab variant that was available elsewhere, but not here in the States.
So it's
like
not
Gabe's white
equitable,
pickup truck is essentially a Hilux. Like visually,
its generation.
Visually, but that one, that's pre-Tacoma. They were not different back then.
Right.
Then when the Tacoma was introduced, they splintered off.
Okay.
So that's when things started to change, and then there became this mythology of, oh, the Tacoma is an Americanized one, but what you really want is the Hilux, because the Hilux is where all that durability went. They spent extra money to make sure stuff's tougher, more durable, all these things. And it's like, nothing wrong with a Tacoma. Tacoma's got its own mythology. If you just look at used Tacoma prices in the States, I mean, yeah, like mine, even after a year, was worth more than I leased it for. It's ridiculous. But in the case of Hiluxes, they have their own thing going on. Yes, he is the Challenger with the buggy wheels guy. Yes. He did a Hellcat and put wagon wheels on it.
Yeah.
And was doing burnouts and stuff in the city. It was ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, that's this guy. So I just thought it'd be funny to watch. Okay, let's see how they beat up a Hilux.
No one in America knows that these exist. So we have
Where was
Mark
Dan
McCann
to
here. He's
mention
kind
the
enough
pause
to
game?
let
I
us
know,
kind of
right?
use this property for our United Kingdom testing grounds. So we're making some friends up here. So this is really nice.
Did you buy this off of him?
No, I didn't pay the guy for it yet. Who did we buy it from?
Oh, you weren't texting me? Oh, yeah, he's mad.
Oh, I was wondering because I didn't pay for it. So this is a 2018 Toyota Hilux.
Oh, God. The reason I paused it originally had nothing to do... It had to do with his ramble there. His ramble was the right idea, but the wrong... Yes, the Monster Max truck in the ocean, too, where the Coast Guard came and all that stuff.
Huh.
I've heard of that one, too. But no, he was talking, kind of dancing around it. The whole import issue specifically goes back to a thing called the chicken tax, which was a tax that was levied by the U.S. specifically against foreign markets importing trucks here that were cheaper than the ones that the U.S. was producing.
Sure.
And so when the chicken tax was introduced, it disincentivized Volkswagen from bringing the transporter like pickup and the transporter van as it was, like the fun van, the Vanagon, pre-Vanagon, the transporter type 2, whatever you want to call it. They had the truck variant. Okay. And then there are other small trucks like Utes and things like that. But they all get hit with this chicken tax. And the reason it's called the chicken tax is that it's something to do with cheap chicken. It's a very dumb, convoluted thing that happened back in like the 40s or 50s.
Topic for a
it's an interesting thing.
Danes.
I'll watch a video on that sometime just to help people understand. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to say he has the right idea, but he had the wrong concept. The other part was from Mercedes-Benz having issues with gray market imports of their European models coming into the States during much of the 70s in particular. And by the 80s rolling around, they were really upset that people in the U.S. were annoyed by smog regulations, so they were just importing Mercedes models from Europe where the regulations weren't the same, and they could bring them in because there were no laws stopping them from importing these cars. Just, the U.S. dealers were pissed off. Yeah. Because they're like, hey, I didn't make any money off this Mercedes, and I'm a Mercedes dealer. I mean, yeah, boohoo dealers, but same time, it was a case where they lobbied the government and they got the 25-year rule imposed eventually.
Wow, all of that led to that.
That hit in the 80s, and it's been the same ever since. That's why every single year you'll see a bunch of JDM fanboys getting super excited because the next year's model of stuff is available, to import from Japan. So really, it's funny. Back in the 80s, it was all Euro stuff, but through the 90s, 2000s, it's all been Japanese stuff that people get excited about. Yeah. So, that's a fun one. But if only G. Davis were here, I'm sure a cheap chicken joke could be made some kind of way. Ethan, I wouldn't doubt it. All right, back to the truck.
Four-wheel drive. It's the same as the old ones. It sounds similar. It's diesel. It's a manual. It's literally the old Hiluxes with the lines on it, the classic Toyota, but in this new, really ugly, curvy, bulky looking body that doesn't have any classic appeal whatsoever. Now, the one advantage with this one, is there anything this one has that the 30-year-old Hilux didn't have?
Camper shell.
Yeah, we could put that on the others.
Well, that's true.
So far, it's a very similar truck. Now, that's not a bad thing, though, because the truck was bulletproof to begin with, so I don't know if you can improve that. So basically, we came to United Kingdom to do this because you can't get them in America, and they won't let you import vehicles until they're 30 years old. So a 2018 vehicle, we're going to have to wait 28 years, 24 years, 26 before this can come to America legally. The beautiful thing about doing things here is that we can break any law that we want, and they can't do anything about it.
They will find you.
Yeah.
We had problems in America with, they were saying that we couldn't go into a bank and ask for money without having that in our account.
That's a bank robbery, surely.
Well, they were saying that we couldn't do that we didn't have the money in our account. We're asking for $100,000. In America, a 1980 Toyota Hilux is around $40,000. Here, a 2018 manual, diesel, everything Toyota Hilux was $23,000. So the average family that would watch this review, because I review vehicles, is going to wonder how it is to go get groceries, go pick up their kids from school, to just drive every day, average things. That's where we start with this. The average family, right? They got a kid back here, but he's rabid. He's psychotic. Okay? You want to make sure that the interior is not going to fall apart. We did an interior test on the old Hilux, and it passed.
Can it hold up to Augie? I don't know.
Really nothing happened. I could not
look
break
pretty
it.
cuttable.
Only thing we're not going to abuse yet is this, because obviously that's glass. And it's
Can the handle is stabbing?
Oh, it's not even glass. It's plastic. Okay.
Oh my God, he's straight up punching the screen.
Okay. You ground your kid from their phone. They reach up here.
When you start to freak out that he's damaging this stuff, the thing to understand is this guy's made so much money off of YouTube. I'm sure it's insane. He now is at the point where he literally buys things and then destroys them just to make fan bases cry. Right. So yeah, we're probably gonna get a dose of that here.
Pay for it.
Yeah, basically.
Here and there.
Almost 3 million views.
The old one didn't do that.
Yeah.
-1 point. So far, this vehicle cannot be better than the old Hilux. I don't know what your kid's like. That's not gonna come off.
Nah, that's attached to the transmission. They go on a trip.
Dad, he's like, all right, kids.
What? What?
Did that not shut?
No.
Old one never did that. Turn it left, left turn, right turn.
Someone just cut in front of you.
Flash your brights at him. Left turn. You're trying to steer with these knobs. That's impressive, actually. You're turning like a skid steer. You forget what vehicle in. You're like, left, right. Is it a plane? Pull up. The brights are on. The brights are off.
I'm
left
impressed
turn,
they're
right turn.
holding on this long.
That should have broken.
They should have broken
missed.
at this point.
Turn the key on. You crank it a little too far every
This is so
time.
painful.
Turn that off. Okay, I don't want AC. Mom, I want AC. No, you don't. Okay, we're gonna make it a little hotter in here. Colder. Oh, high 4, low 4. How about reverse? Hold the e-brake.
Oh God.
Oh, man.
He's a good God. Oh no. He's pulling on the button now. He's trying to pull it out of the socket.
It's not gonna break.
Jeez.
No.
When would this happen in real life? Unruly children. You want to discipline them, but you're driving 80 mile an hour and you don't know what to do. You don't want to spank them
Slam your
because other
seat
people
into
see
them.
that, right?
Right.
So you need something under the table, something that's just gonna snap their legs. Really bumpy road. The steering wheel latch.
Any of
doesn't-
these things actually breaking would have completely disabled the car, basically.
I know, but I'm actually
He hasn't
amazed
even
at
driven it yet.
how well it's holding.
I'm
up
surprised he didn't do this
to
segment.
all that.
But he did this segment before the driving portion, though.
I like how we touched on a lot of detailing stuff, and now we're showing how to undetail things.
The worst possible.
Horribly
thing ever.
undetail. Also, Dane's deflated pool. Keep that guy out of my car. No kidding,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I think Tyler's sunglasses are in there.
Oh, he's gonna fucking break that.
That was uncalled for. What the hell?
Literally no pressure.
Okay. Can you tell that just
It's
happened?
fine though.
We have a light right here. You have a very tall person in the middle seat that needs
To read a book.
They want to read and they just can't quite turn the light on. They try to turn the light on. They're like, Mom, the light won't turn on.
Ethan, I just hope he doesn't scratch the clear.
We'll see.
Okay.
At this rate, I wouldn't be so
All right.
confident in that.
Why didn't they use these clips on the other one?
There. Let's pull them up.
Oh,
there it is.
That wasn't bad.
Do you think they did
They
this so you, if like the passenger wanted to read or like the back
Oh, it
seat?
was meant to do that so you could aim it wherever. Yeah.
I think that
You're on a really rough road, right? You jump out of the vehicle while it's moving 100 miles an hour. You grab onto this handle to save yourself so you don't fall out.
But you just jumped out.
Uh-huh.
You grab onto
He's
the
gonna put all
handle
his
to make
force on.
sure
I have no idea
that
what
you're not
he
going to
weighs,
get hurt
but
on the road when your face smacks the pavement.
He's got 10 pounds of plate
Okay.
on him, at least.
Ooh, that's some.
What's gonna do it is jostling it.
Wow.
Holy crap, that's holding up?
Yeah.
I think that was like 100 mile an hour.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know something an old Toyota Hilux doesn't have? Whatever this is. Riddle me this.
Secret
through
cup
this
holder.
situation.
That
This
looks
happens
fragile.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
You just bought an ASDA approved strawberry banana fruit smoothie, but you're an extremely violent person with anger management issues. You are enraged because you thought that you bought a lime flavor.
I hope
smoothie.
Buddy's watching
You
this.
slam it into your cup holder.
Thought you bought a lime.
Oh no.
It goes right in. Is that a speaker?
I'm surprised.
I feel like that was a good test.
I mean,
If
a
you had
typical.
very violent children,
Yep,
your
and-
car would still be intact at the end of the day.
Yep, you're on a
I know
road
a lot
trip.
of other trucks that would not.
My
We have
car
not
would be
looked
in
at this.
32 pieces right now.
Yeah.
It's a 3-cylinder, pushes just over 150 horsepower, I believe. You're driving down the interway. You hit a deer, the most feared animal on a family
gonna run
vacation.
into
You got the
the front of the
brights
car?
on, you're focused, attentive, but wait, a small innocent deer jumps out. He kicks the front of your car 55 times.
Oh my god.
They turned up the volume on that. They added sounds.
Yes.
So that was the baby deer.
This
He
fell
almost
off.
broke- I think he almost broke character.
Uh-huh.
You not want
Yeah.
your name on your brand anymore? Is that bad?
That's
That's a
Pretty
big
good.
Part of the
bad
Not
grill.
gonna lie, man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh,
It's plastic.
no,
That's
no, no.
brittle
Yeah.
plastic.
That was I was simulating if you hit it like a possum, it would definitely go through there and break it. But let's go around the back. Very large handle,
very.
maybe susceptible to breakage. You're like,
Okay, so it's
you
not a soft
could
close.
be in a huge hurry. You're at the hardware store. You
Oh
pick
god,
up
he's gonna
some
slam this tailgate so
anvils.
hard.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
It broke.
We could not do that with the old one. Yeah, the old one was like strong.
Buddy, this is my 3-year-old's future
over
career.
here. Looks
Product
nice and quality,
tester,
actually.
that's right.
Every station has diesel because that's like all they use here.
There's hope for him yet.
Dude, why do they think of everything better over here? Right? There's no extra hose. What is SR? 99. Okay. Got a nice digital screen. The gas
Oh,
station
wait a
is literally
second.
at a 4.
He said it was a diesel, right?
Yeah.
Are they putting,
Is he putting
petrol
gas in
into it?
Ford dealership. This tiny little over 40
That's
vehicles. Cars.
Over 40 cars and
It's a
stuff.
$1 million car in
Woo!
America. It's an Aventador SVJ, and it's his beater. I'll never be on that level.
God.
Not until next week. Literally doing donuts out in the field.
Wait, what is that?
Beater.
He said I'll never be at that
It's a
level.
$1 million
not till next
car in
week.
America. It's an Aventador SVJ, and it's his beater. I'll never be on that level. Not until next week. Literally doing donuts out in the field with it. I love this guy.
That's awesome.
That looks like so much fun.
Didn't have any amount of
Yeah, and the sound
We're gonna
effect.
test out the driving capabilities of the 2018 Toyota Hilux. We're gonna be racing this Lamborghini Aventador against the fastest vehicle on planet Earth. This has a 900 horsepower V12 engine, and this has a 3-cylinder diesel engine. I've warned Mark of the implications of this. If it comes down to it and he's still winning, I'm immediately going to turn right rapidly and pit. So you're well aware of this.
Absolutely fine with it.
Okay. You want to just run everyone down on this? What this is?
And the things
So this is
people
my
will do for
Lamborghini
cloud.
SVJ. I bought it just for a field car, really. I was struggling for something to race around the farm, and I thought this was ideal because of the four-wheel drive, low resistance. Probably get a tow bar fitted. It's just perfection for the field.
Okay. Good luck.
This is fun.
Oh,
I'm gonna
God.
dump the clutch.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying this so
in four-wheel
far.
drive. He's also in four-wheel drive.
More than I thought I would.
Yeah.
It's just all wheel spin.
No way.
Wow.
What?
That race we were both trying to win.
That was close.
You're gonna need it. Good luck.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't trying.
Oh,
There's no
God.
way. Well, maybe it was. His wheels
Think about how low he is, though. And trying to get grip with the
You're not
performance
taking
tires. Whereas you have instant grip with the truck.
One more. He can't win, so I told him I'd give him a little advantage.
Because he's trying not to gut it too
You
much
if
because he
you
would lose
turn
it.
Traction control down some.
Yeah.
Just let the wheels spin. Yeah, I guess you're right. That's just too messy.
Damn it!
Now he won. You keep coming.
Oh, it's not even like.
It doesn't.
Off the ground.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just about what I expected. But it's funny, all four wheels are touching. On the old ones, they don't flex quite that much. So we have this huge ramp here he uses for side-by-side backflips. No one's done that before, I guess. He has this big
Jesus.
airbag. Unfortunately, the airbag's not aired up or I would just drive off the end of it. How long does it take to air the
Giant
airbag up?
airbag?
What? Hold up.
There's no
This
way.
is pretty steep. I want to showcase
Airbag.
this is for side. On the old ones, they don't flex quite that much. So we have this huge ramp here he uses for side-by-side backflips. No one's done that before, I guess. He has this big airbag. Unfortunately, the airbag's not aired up or I would just drive off the end of it. How long does it take to air the airbag up?
It's got lots of holes in from mice.
This is pretty steep. I want to showcase its four-wheel drive capabilities, just like the
Oh, it wasn't
Mercedes-Benz
an airbag.
commercials
Okay.
or whatever. This is two-wheel
It was-
drive.
it was
then you
something
shift
for
it to
mice.
four-wheel drive. Now the old ones, there was another shifter down here. You just push it, and it would go right in just fine. Now they have this, so it says push to L4. So I don't know if that means push it in. So push it in, and we turned it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Furlough is flashing. Okay, so I'll put it in neutral. Let off the clutch. Turn my wheel reverse. It's not going in. I love my brand new Toyota Hilux not going into 4-low. All right, we're just gonna do it in 4 high then. Smell the clutch, people.
Oh.
Oops.
What was?
Our,
Oh.
Yeah.
our hitch caught.
Dragon
No.
I think you're off.
What?
I didn't see that. Not the cornflakes.
No. gonna eat?
Dude. Oh, dude. Not that quick.
No, dude.
Forlow went in. When we caught on that and jerked back and forth 100 times, the Forlow went in. Now we leave it Forlow. Never take it back out.
Oh!
Take that hitch out.
A terrible hitch.
Yeah, the guy's right. Just take it off. It's a very low hitch.
Yeah.
No wonder it's
The whole way
causing
it's shaped
problems.
is bad.
He's trying to remove it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of whether your muddy
I
tires
did pretty
will grip.
good.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, your approach angle's good on the truck. It still looks like kind of a long overhang, though, when you look at it from that side.
Yeah.
On the first Hilux testing, we did 1,000 door slams to find out how durable the door was. I think we're going to be disappointed with the results, seeing how the tailgate performed. The only thing that happened with our old Hilux, very little damage on the door jamb where it was hitting. All the damage was, there was no damage. Oh, the trim piece kind of just bounced out. But first slam, an extremely violent individual
window break.
gets out of your car. This is how they would shut your door.
Oh.
I knew that was gonna happen. Every time we slam it, it doesn't latch because the latch springs are so weak that the door doesn't have time to latch while it's shut. Watch this.
Oh, kills
the doors
me.
don't latch.
That's such a workout, though.
We
Jeez.
resorted to kicking.
It still isn't dented, though. I'm impressed.
So tired.
He's doing his too. Oh, we're persuading him. The harder I slam mine, the harder he'll slam his.
Oh, no. Oh. You absolute psychopaths.
On the Aventador.
All I can think is, imagine having enough money that doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I would love to
Oh.
experience that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose.
Teamwork.
Okay, that was 1,000 door slams.
We got one. We did one.
It literally broke in the last two. What was that?
Oh, you can.
Oh.
Oh.
Good.
Something is very loose in there. Oh well, the truck works fine. We're good. All right, we got a dirt track here with some jumps. Unfortunately, we also have some medical grade oxygen in the bed.
What the hell, dude? Oh, God. One of those is going to come through the back window.
Yeah, they cannot have air in them. I don't feel like they're
They
not,
gotta be
they're not even that dumb.
Like, they're memeing right now.
Yeah.
God, dude. Do you trust his driving much?
All right, you gotta give it a shot now.
That was
Oh,
absolutely
boy.
perfect.
You let me drive your cars. Your turn.
That's FU money if I've ever seen it. Yeah. What's the joke when you reach a certain point, you stop having FU money and start having FE money?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it just popped out.
What was it? Oh, it was the tank.
Yeah.
Out of the back.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, that kind of wraps
broke
up
the window.
everything
Yeah,
we
just-
do here in England for the week. Made some friends that are very similar. They have similar interests to us. I appreciate you.
Taste
letting us
deflated
draft your
pool, that's
farm and your
psychotic. I
Lamborghini.
love it.
I think he's one step ahead of me with this, but you're also older, so. It's too bad we're not neighbors. He's like the England version of me. Anyways, there's the 2018 Toyota Hilux test number 1. We could do more, but we have to kind of get back to the airport tomorrow. So next time we come, we're gonna do test 2 and we'll amp it up a little bit. After everything we did, there's not that many differences between these two. So far, I'd say this truck is just about even with the old Toyota Hilux, other than the tailgate, the interior pieces, four-wheel drive not quite working properly, parts coming off inside of the... Yeah, I don't know. It's a couple points behind so far.
Yeah.
It could regain points and come in the lead again if it could do something insane to be determined. Looks like our front... Oh. Oh, no. We did not have that problem with the old ones. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm really not feeling the new plastic truck that looks like a tampon. A new Hilux sounded good in theory, but then when you actually like experience it, you're like, it's fun. It's like cool because it's a Hilux, but they kind of neutered it. The one thing that I noticed over here, they have a ton of other car brands that I've never heard of in my life. It's funny, there's a huge cultural barrier between countries. America's not aware of how other countries live. We found a Fiat Panda here. Skoda Fabia. I've never heard of that vehicle. The first time I
That
saw
sounds
one,
like a disease.
Basically,
I got the Skoda
Volkswagens and
Fabia.
Audis
Oh
in
no,
disguise.
no, the
Yeah.
car. Renault Mijani
Renault.
RS. Dacia Duster. It's
Like
just
a
an
Dacia's
SUV.
right.
It looks like a Pontiac Aztec. This was fun. Thanks again. I will see you when we come back to England again. This is a quality Hilux, by the way.
I like that crazy.
Like. You know, when we went to the United Kingdom,
here's the old school Hilux. You can see it's basically the same as, except for the crew cab.
Yeah. The goal was to have a fresh start. Here in the United States, I have a lengthy criminal record. I have a lot of things on my list. Things I can't get off. It's too late. Ever since the jet ski thing, the asking the bank for money without having it in my account. I went to the United Kingdom because I wanted a fresh start. I thought, you know, maybe they'll take me in. We already have a criminal record in the United Kingdom. Maybe I could talk to the Queen. We were driving the Hilux through town. Dead. Now they have speed cameras everywhere. We had the plates on the Hilux, and the guys that we're friends with out there now were like, "Yeah, leave the plates on it." I was like, "We need to take the plates off right now because, well, like they just made it look bad." They're like, "You need insurance and you need all this." I'm like, "No, man, it's fine. Like, dude, I'm not gonna like run people over yet." They were like, "No, leave the plates on. You need to be as legit as possible." So we went the legit way. We left the plates on. We got it insured. We did everything the right way. Except one thing. We went 36 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone, which resulted in a speed camera taking a photo of us and sending it immediately to the person who is insured on the truck as the licensed insuree, the owner. And now, apparently in the United Kingdom, that is a speeding ticket. Like, it's in America, they're like, okay, you were only 30 over, you're fine. Of course, they don't know who is driving, or just insured under his name or whatever. Insurance is weird up there. It says, in accordance with Section 1 of the Road Traffic Offenders Act, kind of a dumb way of wording it.
Yeah.
Notice is hereby given of the intention to take proceedings against the driver of the following motor vehicle. Me, red Toyota. For the alleged offense of speeding excess 30 miles per hour on restricted road, automated camera device. My speed was actually 36 miles an hour. Under Section 172 of the Road Traffic Act, you must provide information, we ask, within 28 days. I'm authorized by the Chief Constable to require you to furnish the full name and address of the driver, which on the above occasion was doing this. Anyways, which was me. It says on there, adds 3 points to your license. For a 36 and a 30. First of all, I never want to go back to the UK again. I'm going to go one more time. If they don't arrest me, I might go again. 36 and a 30, that's 3 points on your license. So obviously I need to take credit. I was under the impression that other countries might be enjoyable. I was proved wrong. As of now, everyone in America is very lucky to be where they're at. So what we're going to do is get them on our trail, and I don't know what they can do to Americans because I'm from another country, so I should be impenetrable, especially because they don't want to make Donald Trump mad.
Joe Biden's president.
So unless you want to get on my bad side, United Kingdom, I strongly suggest removing the speeding ticket. We wouldn't want to make this into something that couldn't be reversed now, would we? It's not too late. We could consider it a souvenir, a prize even. So we're just gonna forget it all happened. We're gonna go back to the UK, may or may not have license plate. We're gonna enjoy our time again. Now I'm gonna give you one more chance. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you.
That's such a cool looking truck.
Yeah.
All right. Right over there. Yep.
Jeez.
All right. That guy's stuff was pretty
Wow. Yeah, no, that was actually pretty funny. That was a good time.
Here it is after us. We can't afford electric anymore. It's not spelled right. It's got typos on it.
And on that note, we find ourselves back here at the full screen where we finally round this out.
Room to stretch out.
It's been a good evening. Yeah, now you got room to like move around. You can be seen. It's all good. So, yeah, to everybody watching, thank you so much for taking the time, making it fun. We appreciate you and all your comments.
Yep.
And, keeping it lively. So, yeah, this was a fever dream, right? Yeah, it kind of felt like it didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
And shout out Bonnie for actually coming in here and watching with us. That was super fun. So thank you, Bonnie.
That was fun.
Especially the inside baseball stuff that I didn't know, context helped. So that was really cool.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll pop on some music. We'll go grab some dinner, and you'll be good to go for working on stuff in the morning. How's that sound?
Work tomorrow.
All right. So we'll get to it. Y'all have a great one.
Well, hey, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're gonna shake hands. Act like we're gonna part ways after this.
Hot seat was nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. So, hope you enjoyed being in the good computer chair.
Yeah.
I brought this in from outside.
Oh, man. I didn't even realize until just now.
I brought it from the porch.
I didn't even realize I had the nice seat. I wasn't paying attention.
When I had Dan here, I had a folding chair I took from basically the office. I'm like, nobody's using this right now.
Yeah.
I brought it over, just set it there, and I'm like, it's okay. I'll put it back. I didn't think about this, so it's okay.
2 hours
I'm using
on a
my
folding
stuff.
chair. Yeah, all
It's
right.
all good.
Well, hey, thanks for the nice chair. It was very nice.
Good stream, guys. Good laughs. I'm glad. Thanks, Rhino. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So hopefully y'all had fun, Have a wonderful evening, and wherever you're at, you know, if you're going to detail, have fun with it. Otherwise, enjoy all your car stuff. Yeah. Because that's what we care about. All right. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
See ya.
Drifting away on the various notes. She says she liked the way my voice hits the highs and the lows. How it reminded her of home, a familiar tone. I think we've been here before, a familiar zone. It's just all the days blend into one. It's but a speck of a world under infinite sun. So I chase the in-betweens of what I say and what I mean, hoping for a better grasp. But it's life I lead and a life I need, and what my life means. I've wasted too much time trying to hide my feelings. Now I just want me and you to watch the sunset, just soak in the view. And if it's all just a dream,